Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. We got a lot of little serious stuff to talk about. As I told you on, I think it was Saturday, uh, that this was going to happen. As I told you when we were talking about uh, the troops being sent out in LA, that this was going to happen. I thank you, Jackson Street, for your membership. I appreciate it. Hello, Foot Soldier. Can you please hit the like button? Um, I have some goals up here. If you remember me telling you about what's to come in this administration, I would like you to hit a goal. If you haven't heard about any of these things and these are something that you're glad that you are learning of, I would like you to hit the goals. My goal is to help inform you. Uh, those are my goals. Okay, so 4547. Saturday night, he had over 140 federal troops on the streets of D.C. under the guise of crime in D.C. was so horrible. And, oh, it is so much going on in D.C. And he's going to, if the police department and the mayor can't do anything, he's going to do something about the crime in D.C. When in fact, the same time last year, the crime in DC has dropped 26% in violent crime. Okay, so what was the what brought this on? If you were with me on Saturday, I told you about the Whiz Kid Big Ball. Big Balls was allegedly attacked by 15 young men. Come to find out that they were 14 and 15-year-old children. Did you remember me talking to you about Big Balls? And it went from eight people attacked him to 10 to 12. The number is ever increasing. His concussion and all of this. And Big Balls had a bloody nose. Uh, and we have anybody uh, interview these young men, these children that they want to call young men, these minors that uh, were out. Surely they should not have been out at 3 in the morning. But Big Balls is 19 years old. What was he doing out coming from a bar at 3 o'clock in the morning? Why was Big Balls in why was Big Balls drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning coming out of a DC bar? I thought that the legal age to serve alcohol was 21 in all 50 states. Am I wrong? Is DC different or something? Do I not know something about DC liquor laws? I'm really asking a question. Isn't that overstepping his authority? Well, let's get into that. Uh, depends on depends on what authority he's claiming. So now, if you didn't see the press conference today, Foot Soldier, you may be amazed, you may not be amazed, but he is calling for a lot of violence. He is saying that he is now releasing the federal police force on the streets last night. They had everybody from ICE, FBI, Parks Police, um, uh, the he said he will also bring the military in if needed. These are the things that he said in his press conference. Uh, border security and ICE were on the DC streets last night. Okay, so you asked, is it overstepping his bounds? Well, here we go. According to These are some of the powers that he has beyond home rule. There's something called home rule. Federal lawmakers have other ways of interfering in DC affairs. That includes budget riders, provisions that are attached to a must pass spending bill. Two long standing examples are riders that prevent DC from relegating marijuana use and the use of local funds to subsidize abortion. In addition, Congress can overturn laws passed by DC Council, a power that it invoked in 2023. So they can override the DC Council's laws. Okay, this was invoked in 2023 when the Senate voted to block a major overhaul of the city's criminal code. So, yes, he can take over DC. You didn't see the well, you're going to see the press conference here. Sit tight. You are going to see the press conference here, and you are going to see that he is making up all of these different scenarios, uh, all of these things that are allegedly happening out here on the streets. I haven't seen any proof of the things that he's saying, and he's saying that, hey, okay. Big balls get his nose busted. He come no talk about this underage youth. No talk about this underage youth coming out of a DC bar. Now he's talking about all the blight and we're gonna get rid of these homeless people. This happened in a upscale neighborhood. So where did this blight come in? Where is it like you're trying to connect these children who should not have been out at that time of night, period. But you're trying to connect that to blight when it happened in an upscale neighborhood. So what you're saying, they came from areas of blight. Are you saying that only children who are poor commit crimes? When we know absolutely that is not true, because but the only thing that happens is when children from poor areas commit crime, you adultize them. They are automatically need to be held as adults, as he stated in his Truth Social release after he found out that Big Balls was allegedly assaulted by anywhere between 8 to 12 youth, as he says in this post. Now, we haven't heard the other side of the story. We have heard that Big Balls was a hero, and he saw these people trying to carjack a woman, and he ran in and saved the day. And then we heard a story that he was standing by his own car, talking to his significant other. Yes, they didn't say girlfriend. They didn't say his woman. They said his significant other. And then these children surrounded him. So he heroically pushed her in the car. And when he turned around, he got punched in the face. But that's the only thing, that physical contact that you heard that was attributed to these youths. So what I want to know is, has anybody talked to these children? Has anybody talked to these children to see what happened on what is their side of the story? Because we know that Big Balls is a big racist as well. Are we going to pretend like Big Balls may not have seen these black kids, and as they say, Big Ball, as they want you to believe, Big Balls is sitting on top of the world. Big Balls is overworking in Social Security Department at 19 years old. Haven't probably ain't even got enough to have 1 point going towards his own Social Security, but he is figuring out ways to privatize the Social Security that you have worked for all your life. Yes, they want to privatize Social Security. That's what they want to do. They want to privatize Social Security, and this is the person who has no life lived experience. His only reality has been virtual reality, playing games and setting up uh, racist sites where you can unload pictures that can never be connected back to you. Who creates sites uh, so you can download videos and pictures that can never be researched back to you and reach back to you? What good is what type of person finds a good in using? What type of person needs to use that type of service? Let me see what you guys are saying. Where are they going to put the homeless? Hey, Leonard. Exactly. They have no plans. They're spending the ICE budget is the biggest, the biggest budget of all our police agencies. And they can spend all this money to give them a $50,000 sign-on bonus when they're talking about hiring over 10,000. See, they have the money for that. But any remedies for the homeless? No, they're just going to have to get out. There, period. Long stop. Nothing else said about these homeless people and why they're in the conditions that they're in and how they're going to get out. Yep, they've been trying to privatize Social Security for 2 decades. Right. Hey, Madison. Hey, Leonard. It is good to see you. Let's talk about I'll let you hear all the violence. Oh, let me read what he said after bitch. And I don't believe. See, who's to say that Big Balls didn't say something greasy that deserved him getting punched in the nose? You know, how many times have these motherfuckers said something greasy? He knew he was talking to uh children peers. His said he knew he wasn't talking to no black man. So who's to say that he didn't say something to get fucking bopped in his motherfucking nose? Because that's the only thing that they said. But now all of a sudden he had concussions and he this and he that and he and he would have been dead if he'd have got off his feet. So he didn't even fall. He didn't even fall. But they have all these premonitions, the fear of the black man. So let's engage the black man. I hope you people are paying attention. See, because stay on bullshit if you want to stay on bullshit. Act like you don't know if you want to act like you don't know. But I'm just going to continue to speak the facts to what's going on. After this attack, he came out with this truth social tweet. Let's read what he said. Hey, Queen Diva. After this alleged assault, crime in Washington, D.C. is totally out of control. Local youths and gang members, some only 14, 15, and 16 years old, are randomly attacking, mugging, maiming, and shooting innocent citizens. Now, I I'm going to say that this happens across all demographics of youth, all of them, all of them. You can find situations where all of them are doing this, but it is only highlighted as a problem that the black youth have. Okay, let's continue. At the same time, knowing that we will be almost at the same time knowing that they will be almost immediately released. They are not afraid of law enforcement because they know nothing ever happens to them. But it's going to happen now. The law in DC must be changed to prosecute these in quote minors. See now the simple fact that he decided to put the word minors in quotation ought to tell you something. I ought to tell you that he does not even consider Black children to be children when they are children. Okay, but, the law in DC must be changed to prosecute these minors as adults and lock them up for a long time, starting at age 14. The most recent victim was beaten mercilessly by local thugs. Now we know what thugs. We know the dog whistle in that. Uh, black children. Uh, Washington, D.C. must be safe, clean, and beautiful for all Americans and, importantly, for the world to see. If D.C. doesn't get its act together and quickly, now this was on Sunday morning, the Doge whiz kid. Now, the Doge guy, he can be a kid at the age of 19, but these 14 and 15 year olds, they can't be. Okay, okay. Okay. So if DC doesn't get its act together and quickly, this happened on Saturday night into Sunday morning, and now here it is Monday. How much time did they have to get their act together? This happened on Saturday night into Sunday morning, and here it is on Monday. Uh, on Sunday night, there were federal agents in the streets. So, what time how quickly was quickly? Okay. So, the whole point is this has been his plan all the time. But why do you know this was his plan all the time? Because he tried to do it the first time he was in office. That's how you know this has been his plan all the time. And he has been freed up from this simp as Supreme Court who don't give a fuck about rule of law as they are supposed to be the high laureates of disseminating what the law and the Constitution means for you, means how our government can treat you, us. When I say you, I'm including myself. Okay, so if DC doesn't get its act together and quickly, we will have no choice but to take federal control of the city and run this city how it should be run and put criminals on notice that they are not going to get away with it anymore. Perhaps it should have been done a long time ago. Then this incredible man and so many others would not have had to go through the horrors of violent crime. If this continues, I'm going to exert my powers and federalize this. Let me see. I don't have the rest of that. Yeah, federalize uh, Washington D.C. And that's exactly what he did. Okay, so that's night, Sunday night. Hey, Miss Toby. Hey, M. Renee. Hey, Choreo Lover. So Sunday night, there were over 140 different uh, police agencies on the street. Now, I really want to know how safe do you feel? It doesn't. Now we have our FBI on the streets of Washington D.C. and there has been many complaints about how the FBI has been being used by FBI agents themselves. Let me add something. Let me add this. Hold on one second. I want to show you a picture of the number of FBI agents that they had arresting one person. And surprisingly, it was a white man that they were actually arresting. I was surprised about that. Um, oh, I can't find the picture. I apologize. Oh, it's in my article that I have. Okay, uh, we'll save that for the article. Okay, so then 4547 comes out with this statement on yesterday. Now, Big Balls allegedly got assaulted on Saturday night into Sunday. But on Sunday, after giving them time to clean up their act quickly, here comes this statement. The press conference on crime and beautification will be held tomorrow at 10 a.m., which was today. And we're going to review this press conference. Now, He said that there was going to be a press conference today, but why was last night over 140 federal agents in the street of D.C. already? Okay, we'll go over that. Uh, Let me see. The press in the press briefing room, and it will not only involve ending the crime, murder, and death. Isn't a death and considered murder? Isn't murder considered death in our nation's capital? But will also be about cleanliness and general physical renovation and condition of our once beautiful and well maintained capital. You didn't care about the beauty of the Capitol and the maintenance of the Capitol on January 6th. We are not going to allow people to spend $3.1 billion. Now he's talking about the Fed chair, who he's unable to control or fire, Jerome Paul, who has just refurbished the Fed building, and now he's saying it could be done for a couple of $1 million, and we didn't have that. What does that have to do with crime? It has to do with he can't control Jerome Powell. So Jerome Powell spending that he had available to him to spend on the federal building is a problem in the beautification. Well, he's making the Fed building beautiful. Okay, he's a fucking nut job. Let me continue. Okay, we are not going to allow people to spend $3.1 billion on fixing up a building like the Federal Reserve, which could have been done uh, in a far more elegant and time-sensitive matter for $50 to $100 million. So, okay, anyway, the renovation would have actually been better, and we could have saved $3 billion. Traffic jams and never-ending construction. So, is it the uncleanliness? Construction means they're improving. Traffic jams, that's par for the course. Aren't you a developer who always mangle up? Was always mangling up the New York City streets, but now construction is a problem. Well, is it construction going to be a problem when he adds that mon, mon, monstrosity of a ballroom to the White House, looking wholly and entirely out of place? Anyway, okay. The mayor of DC, Muriel Bowser, is a good person who has tried, but she has been given many chances, and the crime numbers get worse. Uh, and the city only gets dirtier and less attractive. Now, let's understand, who is Muriel Bowser? She's a black mayor. She's a black mayor. You know how he always what he always has to say about black women, low IQ. Do you think that he does not think that she is low IQ? Does he? Do you think that he does not think that he can try this on a black mayor so easily because she is a black mayor? Do you think that? Okay. Anyway, let's continue. The American public is not going to put up with it any longer. So, American public, is that one of the things that has the American public afraid about how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to continue to pay these increasing prices for groceries, how they are going to navigate their retirement after the tariffs have ripped through people's 401ks? Is it going to help people navigate what they're going to do if and when they get thrown off of Medic, Medicaid? Is any of that going to help these? Is so the American people are worried about how beautiful Washington D.C. looks. It's not like Washington D.C. is getting any tourists, many tourists. The amount of tourists that they were getting before 45, 47 turned the spigot off of tourism to our whole country. Okay, let's continue. The American public is not going to put up with it any longer. Just like I took care of the border, where you had zero illegals coming across last month. Uh, I heard a report that there were 16,000, but that's neither here nor there. But well, that's the truth opposed to the lie. Um, and millions the year before. I will take care of our cherished capital, and we will make it truly great again. Before the tents, squalor, filth, and crime, it was the most beautiful capital in the world. It will soon be again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Let me see what you guys are saying, and let's get into this press conference. Why don't we? Trump is using divide and conquer chaos magic as a smokescreen to complete his real objectives. I see through the bullshit. Trick is to not involve your emotions and to look at it strategically. Yes, it is. But you have to understand and you have to see exactly what he's doing. Child, please. They are they are insulating him from when he was impeached. He's not going to leave. He's not going to leave. Do you think that he's putting that big ballroom on something that he's leaving? Do you think that he's stealing money that is to make sure our uh, nuclear arsenals buried underground are the actual silo is not crumbling? Do you think that he stole that $900 million to ensure that the silos that hold our nuclear arsenal is not crumbling and degrading? To fix up that Qatari plane to Air Force One specs. What would he need a plane to be Air Force One ready for in 2027 when he's going to be leaving office? Because that's the estimated time frame that it's going to take to get it up to spec. So why was he even needed up to spec if he's leaving office? He's not. He has no plan to leave office. And if you don't know, if you want to pretend like, oh, it can't happen, yes, it can happen. Hey, and Renee, he's stupid as hell. He wants the homeless out of DC, but doesn't have a place to put them or a care for a place to put them. It is not his problem. All of the other stuff, the beautification, and I don't recall Washington D.C. Capital being the envy of the world. Quite frankly, I think the American uh, architecture is far below grade of other states with other countries with money. Now, I do I do like I do like the buildings that black slaves, built for free. I do like the architecture of those buildings. I definitely do. It's amazing that they were able to do all of those carvings and stuff. And the Italian immigrant who used a hammer and a chisel to write that huge ass speech on the Lincoln Memorial. Whose tools are still on display that he used to write all of that fucking speech that stands in front of the Lincoln Memorial. An immigrant and slaves, the people who built this country. Now look at what this son of a Klansman has in store for immigrants and the black people who actually built this country. This shit is crazy. Okay, so let me get going. Um, I'm not gonna stop much. I'm not gonna stop much because we'll be forever if I keep stopping. I don't want to be forever. Let me remove Miss Toby's remark. Hey, Southern Belle. Hey, Daniel Berry, Sports and Highlights. Okay, so let me share with you uh, 45, 47. And the way he says that people, but they'll be in your face and they'll be spitting on you, and we're going to be rough with them. He's telling people, uh, he's telling whoever he puts on the streets of DC to actually use police brutality. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. He's telling them that any police brutality would be welcome. Okay, here we go.
Purpose, very serious purpose. Wow. I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, very serious purpose. Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly, like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in DC, and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the DC Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. And you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Uh, Very good people, but they're tough and they know what's happening. And they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but uh, you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth, much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just.
Okay, well, he's lying. He's absolutely a lying. I apologize for my mic being off. If you hear something now, if he did executive order, there was no city, no state on that executive order to release the military in Los Angeles under a lie that they said that the city was burning down. A lie. Now, I told you that the fact that he was so uh, it was so easily done to release the military in our street. Did you not think there's crime in every city? So do you not think that executive order that he wrote and got so little pushback for does not mean that the military will be released into any city he chooses to release them under this weak guise of crime is so bad because Big Balls and his racist ass got punched in the nose. When in fact, now he also says in this that people are saying that they told the person who wrote the crime report to make the numbers lower so it wouldn't look so bad, and he's going to look into that. See, because he cannot justify this stance about how bad the crime is, worse than third world countries and everything, when the actual numbers, this administration hate numbers, when the actual facts of the number is that it is at a 26% low compared to the same time last year. Like when his jobs numbers came out and he fired the woman who was in charge of putting out the numbers. He hates real facts, real numbers. Math is very, very easy, and since it's so simple and anybody can understand it, somebody is doing something to fuck with the numbers. Let's continue.
Goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs, and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes to our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had zero. I don't know if that's right, but the people that do the work, it's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said zero for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And, when you take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, the red is a place called Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad. Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs. Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru, all double and triple what they are. So do you want to live in places like that? I don't think so. And I think the people in this room, if you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. DC, 41 per 100,000, number one that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that. Is that where you want to live? The reporters of the world? Juvenile offenders and crimes against persons, as they say. It's getting worse. Not getting better, it's getting worse. And we had a recent indication. There was a story about a man who was just left. He quit because he was asked to do phony numbers on crime. And we're going to look into that. I think Pam is going to be looking into that. But he was asked by the city, I guess, we don't want to show the real numbers. Let me do numbers so it looks like it's going down. Not going down.
So, are you informed? There was a man. What was this man's position? The crime statistic analyst left. What was this man? There was a man And we're going to be reviewing this. I think Pam is going to review it. And of course, this bobblehead bitch nods her head. Bitch, how can you guys review anything when you guys are so busy getting your stories to your lies together about the Epstein shit that 4547 name appears in routinely? Okay, let's continue.
And under Biden, it was a disaster. And nobody did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you wouldn't believe. Every American has a constitutional right to be able to access and petition their government in safety, and countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to carry out their jobs in peace without being shot. As you know, I lost a very good person a while ago, was shot waiting for his wife. He was in the car. They robbed his car. They shot him. They killed him like it was nothing to it. She was walking to the car. It's a horror show. This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America. Really, it's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad, very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this.
Miss Toby, you hear him say that your city is so far gone. What do all these cities have in common? These are a majority black cities, much like DC. Remember they used to call it DC Chocolate City. They want to get the chocolate out of DC. That's all this is. Let's continue.
And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with DC, and we're going to clean it up real quick, very quickly, as they say. Days ago, a former member of the Doge staff was savagely beaten by a band of roving thugs after defending a young woman from an attempted carjacking. He was left dripping in blood. He thought he was dead with a broken nose and concussion. Can't believe that he's alive. He can't believe it. In June, a 21-year-old congressional intern was tragically killed after being hit by a stray bullet in a drive-by shooting. A former Trump administration official named Mike Gill, fantastic person, was murdered last year in cold blood in a carjacking blocks away from the White House. We all knew him. Great person. Waiting for his wife as she was walking to the car. A Democrat congressman was also carjacked at gunpoint not far from the Capitol. And in 2023, an aide to Senator Rand Paul was stabbed in the chest and head by a demented lunatic as he walked down the street, just absolutely for no reason. Horrifically, last July 4th weekend, a 3-year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the Capitol. It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live. Caravans of mass youth rampage through city streets at all times of the day. They're in ATVs, motorbikes. They travel pretty well. Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that the Navy Yard.
ATVs. They travel pretty well. ATVs, and they are traveling pretty well. You should not be able to be on any motor vehicle. You can't afford a car. You're traveling pretty well. If you actually have an ATV, you're doing pretty well. If you're able to buy your black son a ATV, do you get what he's putting down? The actual audacity of a black child to own an ATV. Let's continue. Because he's not talking about adults.
I saw it this morning. They saw that they fought back against. Let's see, they fight back.
And let's remember in the 80s, when they used to have all these motorcycle clubs that would go down the streets. Maybe they got on some people's nerves, but these black children, young men, had an outside interest. They were perfecting their little skills and tricks and all of this type of stuff. Something to keep their minds off the street. But no, they're traveling too well. If they have ATVs, let's take everything away from them. And then what are they going to concentrate on? What are they going to not want to come up? Are they not going to want to come up on a come up? But then they act like they don't understand the whole dynamic of giving the youth something to concentrate on. They act like they don't understand that black young people need and want the same things that every other child wants and needs. But they take away all of the after school programming with the closing of the Department of Education. Also, is closing on all of this after all of these after school programs. Let's continue. Let me.
Until you knock the hell out of them because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement. The White House. We all knew him. Great person. Waiting for his wife as she was walking to the car. A Democrat congressman was also carjacked at gunpoint not far from the Capitol. And in 2023, an aide to Senator Rand Paul was stabbed in the chest and head by a demented lunatic as he walked down the street, just absolutely for no reason.
So, by a demented lunatic, are there not plenty demented lunatics running all around America because America has no will to do anything about mental health care? Are we going to forget that? So just because it happened to an aide to Ron Paul is more egregious than when it happens to the common citizen that has to live out here amongst them, who has none of these protections that these congressmen, senators, and presidents and their aides and staff has. So is it more acceptable when we who have to live amongst them? It happens to us. Let's continue.
Horrifically, last July 4th weekend, a 3-year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the Capitol. It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live. Caravans of mass youth rampage through city streets at uh, all times of the day. They're in ATVs, motorbikes. They travel pretty well. Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. They saw that they fought back against. See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night, and they're not going to be fighting back long because I've instructed them and told them whatever happens, they love to spit in the face of the police as the police are standing up there in uniform. They're standing and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing and they're told, don't do anything under any such of this. And you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there and people are spitting in their face and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to.
Listen, you wet mouth bitch, you spit in people's face every time you're doing a speech. I bet you those microphones are dripping wet, you wet mouth bitch. Now, he's gonna allow them to get at it, as if they have not been getting at it all this time. He's letting the police and anybody who he puts on the streets that you can do whatever you want to these people. I am giving you the permission to get at it. And look at the drunk behind him. He's so affected. Oh, fucking weak ass bitch standing behind him. He's probably mad that he had to get up to be at this press conference at 10 a.m. Shit, the motherfucking press conference was how many minutes late? It probably was waiting on his drunk ass. They were, let me see, over 50 minutes late. It probably was for a heck self to fucking sober up. Let's continue.
To do whatever the hell they want. This dire public safety crisis stems directly from the abject failures of the city's local leadership. The radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central: no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody and they're out on no cash bail before the day is out. We're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd, and
Okay, so now we're on to changing statutes in Chicago. These uh, these states' laws in Chicago. Now they're on to that. Let's continue.
everybody, we're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote because the Democrats are weak on crime, totally weak on crime.
So what do you mean the Republicans don't vote? Are you saying that this is the fault? You're going to have to get the Republicans to vote as if they haven't been voting all this time. So what are you requesting uh, of Chicago, of Illinois? Are you requesting some seats so more Republicans, congressmen, and senators can vote your way? Is that what you're requesting? Now, speaking of that, Florida has already said that they will be gerrymandering their seats. Four more states have all already said that yes, they will be redistricting their seats to gerrymander their seats before the primaries. Let's continue.
They don't know why they want to stop because they get mugged too. But we're going to change no cash bail. We're going to change the statute and get rid of some of the other things. And we'll count on the Republicans in Congress and Senate to vote. We have
And so we will have more people languishing in jail for petty crimes that they are putting bail on, where they don't even write you motherfuckers tickets for. Is that like Khalif Broder, who had never, I don't even think he was arraigned and was in Rikers Island for 3 years. Is this what we're going to do? Okay, thank you for letting me know that.
the majority, so we'll vote. We don't have a big majority, but we've gotten everything, including the great, big, beautiful bill. Got that done, and that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to people in this country. They're starting to figure it out how good it is. Biggest tax cut in history. So many things, but we'll be able to get that done. So, Todd, if you and Pam,
Who is they trying to fit? Who are the they who are figuring out how good this big beautiful bill is? They're starting to figure it out. A biggest tax cut in history. It's not the biggest tax cut in history for the regular American. There has been no taxes. There has been no tax date. That has come since this big beautiful bill. Taxes are due in April unless you get an extension. Where is the people who are realizing how much they are saving in taxes? But what is being realized is the amount of money that has been poured into ICE that you guys can use however you want to. Oh, yeah, they're spending that money now. Let's continue.
draw up things working with the people, we will. I'll get it passed. I'll get it passed with the Republicans.
Look at bobblehead. All she do is bob her head. I wonder, do she bob her head on his flaccid peen? I wonder, is that a job requirement? Because any other job requirement she does not hold. I wonder if that's just a reflex every time he's talking to her. She's bobbing her head. I don't know.
Probably won't get. Think of this. Probably won't get one Democrat vote because they have no idea what they're doing. That's why they want men playing in women's sports. That's why they want
Okay,
transgender for everybody.
let's move
Everybody
behind.
transgender.
Now it's
FBI,
transgender.
ATF, DEA, Park
Here
Police,
we
the
go.
U.S.
Here we go.
really fixed it the first week, but really fixed it over the last couple of months. And I mean, literally to a point where, as I said, zero illegals entering our country in the last 90 days. Pretty amazing. It's time for dramatic action. We're going to do the same thing over here. It's going to be a very safe city very soon. We're not looking to just take years because a lot of people die in years. And we've got incredible people in this country, except we have to allow them to do their job. And that we will deliver like nobody's ever delivered before. I actually think it's easy. You know, if you're competent, it's easy. If you're incompetent, it's impossible. But I'm very competent. Last week, my administration surged 500 federal agents into the district, including from the FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security. You know, a lot of nations, they don't have anything like that. They got some police, and they're rough police.
Okay. So he has all of this. Not the country has all this. He says he has all of this. These are his police. These are his personal what they got, brown boot thugs. Now, and he's looking at all of the police that he has, plus the military, plus the National Guard.
They don't have a DEA, ATF, FBI, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security. They got some police, but they're rough police, and they do their job. They don't have crime. We're not going to have crime either. They made dozens of arrests, and that's what starts to happen. Again, cashless bail. Watch what we do with that. Today, we're formally declaring a public safety emergency. This is an emergency. This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know,
A
I'm going to see
public
Putin. I'm
emergency.
going to Russia on Friday.
A public emergency, and it's embarrassing to him because he's going to see Putin, a somebody who invaded a sovereign country, and he's embarrassed about his country. Your president said he is your president said that he is embarrassed about your country for going because he's going to go visit somebody. Isn't invading a sovereign nation a war crime? But he's embarrassed to go to visit Putin. Let's continue.
I don't like being up here.
And are we going to pretend? Why are you embarrassed to go visit Putin? So is Russia such a lovely place? Is Russia a beautiful crime-free place with all the Russian mobs that we have in the United States? But you are embarrassed to visit Putin.
Talking about how
Because we don't count the Russian mob. No, we don't count the Russian mob over here. It's just you black folks.
unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was, with graffiti all over the walls. It's another part of it, by the way, because we're talking about safety, but we're also talking about beautification. We have the most beautiful, potentially, capital in the world. We always had. But people come from Iowa, they come from Indiana, they come and then they get mugged. Not going to happen. Keep coming, because by the time you get your trip set, it's going to be safe again, and it's going to be clean very quickly. We're going to replace the medians that are falling down all over the roads. We're going to replace the potholes. We're going to put a nice new coat of asphalt over the top. No, we don't have to rip the road out and spend 7 years building a new road because they cut everything. Because some designer said, well, we need a quarter of an inch more turn for safety reasons. No, we're going to do it right. We're going to get it done quickly.
Okay, we're gonna do shit, regular shit. How much is that gonna cost us? How much is that gonna cost us? Where is all they like to overspend or say that they're going to spend some huge amount of money for some simple ass shit. Did you just hear that motherfucker said that they're going to pour some new asphalt down? They're going to fix potholes by pouring new asphalt down. A 3-year-old know that is not how you actually fix a pothole and the asphalt is going to get hot and it's going to start denting in the pothole and having those big swerves of asphalt. So and he's going to have a huge price tag on this as well, but he's telling you he's going to do shoddy work and have a big price tag to now, who is getting all of these savings that he is talking about, that he's saving, all of this money that he has clawed back from the Department of Education, but they say that they have it in a fund. Where is all of this money going that has been approved by Congress that they have clawed back and have not dispersed? Where is all of this money going? It's not going down to it's not going to pay down the debt. It's not. It has not. It has been approved and confiscated by your government, but they cannot tell you when they're going to disperse it and to whom and where. Let's continue.
So today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. And I'll be making the appropriate notifications to Congress and to the mayor, our new DEA administrator, who's one of the top in the country. He better be terrible.
So DC voters, Pam Bondi is who you voted for. Understand that. Now, let me go right here.
We're going to do it right. We're going to get it done quickly. Uh, so today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. And I'll be making the
The new police chief, who can't figure out how to lie her way out of her lies about Jeffrey Epstein. That is who's over the DC police force right now. Let's continue.
appropriate notifications to Congress and to the mayor, our new DEA administrator, who's one of the top in the country. He better be Terry. If you're not, I'm going to get rid of you so fast. Terry Cole. Terry, thanks. Very good. We just got him. Most highly recommended person. And
Recommended by who? You just got him, the new DEA chair. So he's over the Department Drug Enforcement Agency. So, what is his credentials? Are his credentials like the rest of these cabinet picks? No experience. The best man. You notice he did not give any credentials. He just said that he was the best man, highly recommended. So we understand that the best men for this administration, men and women, to get high level seats at this administration is for them to be yes men. He gave absolutely no uh, prior experience in anything about combating drugs in the United States. I just want you to pay attention.
you'll be designated as the interim federal commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Department. Okay? And you run them tough. They're good. You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke. But you have a lot of great police. And those people.
You have a lot of good people. You have a lot of good people in there, but you got a lot of people who shouldn't be in there. They got in there because of woke. So, do you think that he will be firing black police officers? Some police officers should not be in there because they got in there because of woke. What do you hear? What do you hear being said to you? But you got to be listening to hear it.
Are the ones that want to help you. This city will no longer be a sanctuary for illegal alien criminals. We will have ones that want to help you. This city will no ones that want to help you.
Hold on.
You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke. But you have a lot of great police. And those people are the ones that want to help you. This city will no.
You got a lot of great police, and those are the people who are going to want to help you. It's not going to be the black cops because it's not going to be any cop with any type of morals. It's going to be people who are beholden to this administration and first and only. So those are the people who are going to help you.
Longer be a sanctuary for illegal alien criminals. We will have full, seamless, integrated cooperation at all levels of law enforcement, and we'll deploy officers across the district with an overwhelming presence. You'll have more police, and you'll be so happy because you'll be safe. When you walk down the street, you're going to see police or you're going to see FBI agents. We're going to have a lot of agents on the streets. You're going to have a lot of essentially military, and we will bring in the military if it's needed, by the way. We're going to have national.
You already said you're going to have a lot of essential military, and we will. No, you forgot to tell us that you were going to bring them in. You just it was foregone in your head that you're going to have a lot of military on the streets, and then yeah, we will bring the military in. Yeah, you already plan to have the military in. Let's be clear. Now. Um, my goals should be ringing off the hook. My goals are, if you've heard me tell you this before, my goals should actually be ringing off the street. This is not new information that I'm giving you. This is the culmination of all the things that have been going on in this administration, all of the things that Project 2025 told you that will go on in this administration, all of the executive orders that I have keyed you into that meant that this is allowing him to put a military in every city, in every state. You should be familiar with this information. This shouldn't be new information. So if you heard this information before, or if you are just hearing it now, hit the goals. I have
Good.
goals as
But
well.
Pete Hegseth will tell you about it. We will bring in the military if needed. People say, "Oh, that's so terrible. He's going to bring in." It's been used many times over the years. Uh, I don't think we'll need it.
It's been used many times over the year. The last time the military was bought in was when they did the Japanese internment camps. To apologize for. So it's been he's trying to make you feel, oh, it's no big deal. It's been done many a times, many times. Our United States military has been turned on its people. Let's continue.
I think we've got so many great people, including the people that are in the police department with proper leadership. They'll immediately begin massive enforcement operations targeting known gangs, drug dealers, and criminal networks to get them the hell off the street, maybe get them out of the country, because a lot of them came into our country illegally. They shouldn't have been allowed in. They come from Venezuela. They come from all over the world. We're going to get them the hell out. They won't be here long. But some of these people, a lot of them are homegrown criminals. And these are bad people.
So he said we're getting them out of here. A lot of them are homegrown people. He just told you that they're getting them out of here because they're from other nations, while at the same time acknowledging that a lot of them are homegrown. And what did he tell Butele from El Salvador? That he wants to get rid of some of the homegrown criminals. So are you acting like you did not hear him say that he wanted to get rid of some homegrown people to El Salvador? Did you not hear that? And did you just not hear him say that he wanted to get the criminals out of here? They're from this place, that place, and some of them are homegrown. So you have to hear what you're hearing, and you can't pretend like you don't know what you know.
These are rough people. And this is just a list of some of the people that were given to me today that were criminals removed from the DC streets this weekend. They were rough and tough, but we're rougher and tougher. Look at these people here. Nothing, they're not going to be your local school teacher. Look at this guy. He has killed people numerous times. They're not going to be an asset. They will never be an asset to society. I don't care. I know we all want to say, oh, they're going to be rehabbed. It's not going to be rehabbed. I'm going to ask Doug Burgum to come up and say a couple of words because he's in charge, as you know. He's interior, but he's in charge of the U.S. Park Police. And I've heard so many great things about the Park Police. They're proud of it. They've been there for a long time. Their families oftentimes grow into the roles. They love the country. They love this area. So, Doug, could you say a few words, please?
Thank you, Mr. Well, Mr. President, it's an honor to be here. And at your direction this morning, we mobilized the D.C. National Guard. It'll be operationalized by the Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, through the D.C. Guard. You will see them flowing into the streets of Washington the coming week. At your direction as well, sir, there are other units we are prepared to bring in. Other National Guard units, other specialized units. They will be strong, they will be tough, and they will stand with their law enforcement partners. This is nothing new for DOD. As the President noted, at the border, we've got 10,000 troops down there who've been operating in defense cooperation areas, defense zones, where there's zero illegal crossings because of troops on strikers scanning the border. We've been protecting other people's borders for 20 years. It's about time we protect our own. And we're working with ICE and CBP. In Los Angeles, we did the same thing, working with the California National Guard, working with ICE officers. ICE officers deserve to do their job and not be attacked. We will work alongside all DC police and federal law enforcement to ensure this city is safe, this city is beautiful. And as I always say about President Trump to the troops, he has their back. And my message to the National Guard and federal law enforcement in Washington is we have your back as well. Be tough, be strong. We're right behind you. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Pam, because she's now, as you heard me say, she's really in charge of a lot of what we're talking about. She's done an incredible job. People are going to start to see the fruits of her labor. And Pam, maybe you could say a few words about.
So we're going to start to see the fruits of her labor. We're going to see these Epstein files that she had ready to go. Let's continue.
What we're talking about here.
Let me be crystal clear. Crime in DC is ending and ending today. We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital. Families come here every summer. Our museums are free. We have the National Zoo. We have the National Gallery. DC should be a place where everyone can come and feel safe. Behind
Okay, enough of her. Fuck this bitch. The link is in the description box. Let's move on. Is all of this happening because are they don't want you to pay attention that they are in court? Today is the first day of court for them putting the National Guard in California. But prior to this, I want to show you the actual crime statistics in Washington, D.C. Who is this? This is um, crime statistics in Washington, D.C. 2025. Facts about crime in Washington, D.C. Let's go over this chart of crimes. Interesting stats and facts about crime in Washington, D.C. 2025 crime fact. Violent crime 30-year low. 2024 marked the lowest violent crimes rate in over 30 years. And as you see, crime in 2025 is down 26% from last year's statistics. Uh, if as you see, uh, 2024 was the lowest, and they're down 26% in violent crimes compared to last year as of August 7th, 2025. So uh, I just want to show you the actual facts, and none of the shit that he's saying makes any sense. Homicide reduction, 12% decrease in homicides through May 2025 versus 2024. Uh, Sexual abuse drop, 46% significant decrease in sex abuse cases year to date. Robbery decline, 24% reduction in robbery incidents compared to 2024. Motor vehicle theft. Motor vehicle theft has increased. A 9% rise in car theft. So property crime. Property crime. Overall crime reduction. 4% decrease in total crimes through May 2025. Firearm recovery peak. 2,895 firearms recovered in 2024, showing enforcement efforts. A federal intervention. August of 2025, federal law enforcement deployed to assist the Metropolitan Police Department. Assault weapons crimes, 15% decrease in assault with dangerous weapon cases. Property crime improvement, 2% overall reduction in property crime year to date. So these actual statistics. Where do you see that this crime is just out of control? A lot of people seems to be getting their cars stolen, 9%, but I say that is not the largest percentage of car theft in this country. Washington, D.C.'s 2025 crime landscapes reveal a mix of encouraging progress and lingering challenges. One of the most notable achievements is the violent crime rate reaching its lowest level in over three decades, a milestone largely driven by 12% decrease in homicide and 46% drop in sex abuse cases compared to the same period in 2024. Biden was doing it was a mess under Biden. Okay, robbery incidents have also declined by 24%, suggesting that law enforcement strategies, community outreach and targeted interventions are making a tangible impact. And all of this happened because Big Balls was allegedly somebody tried to rob him or carjack him or something. But the thing about it is, they said that there's a drop in this type of crime because law enforcement strategies. The law enforcement was the one who saw what was going on. So law enforcement was right there on top of that case that they want to tell you that was so horrible that he got a concussions and all of that. But a cop saw what happened and came to his aid. So what we doing here? We putting our we're putting our military on the street so you can't protest when they go into their next phase of bullshit. They are trying to act like there is a reason to have our military on the street. Let me drop this link in my description in the chat. You guys can go over this. So it's bullshit. That's all I want you to know, that it is bullshit. Here's a link to this. You can't even have a strap near DC now. How convenient. How convenient. Okay, there is something else I wanted to share with you guys as well. The Daily Mirror had a report on what was going on in DC last night. Let me share this with you. So this is before today's announcement. Okay, let me read this Daily Mail article on this. This happened before the announcement that I just showed you. The announcement is in my description box. DC crackdown. This link is in my description box as well. Federal agents began a crackdown in Washington, D.C. as hundreds of National Guard troops expected to flood city after 4547 post images of trash and homelessness. We want our capital back. He posted pictures of in tents while he was in his paid for the public motorcade. 4547 was preparing to deploy up to 1,000 National Guard troops to flood the streets of Washington, D.C. as federal agents began making arrests on Sunday night. 4547 was expected to announce the deployment during his White House press conference on Monday as he pushes for federal takeover of the city amid a crackdown on crime. Be prepared. There will be no Mr. Nice Guy. We want our capital back, 4547 warned on Live Social. Okay. Photos taken on Sunday night show several federal authorities working in coordination with one another, including the FBI, Border Patrol. In one instance, a man was detained by police on U Street in the Capitol as FBI and Border Patrol agents assisted. So the FBI is being used for this. So what is the FBI overlooking to fight street crime in DC for absolutely no reason when crime is down? So with the number of qualified FBI agents who were fired because they were doing their job in investigating the January 6th riots, do we even have qualified FBI agents who are qualified to do anything other than police work, manual police work? Do you feel safe? Okay. Okay, was detained on U Street in the Capitol as FBI and Border Patrol agents assisted. How much? How much assistance is needed? A short distance away, a DEA agent could also be seen standing guard at DuPont Circle. It came as 4547 deployed 120 FBI agents to work alongside DC police and other federal law enforcement officers working the night shift in the city. So you got FBI agents, you got the DC police, and other federal law enforcement officers. The National Guard mobilization was expected on Monday, as U.S. official told NBC4 Washington that Trump was considering deploying 1,000 troops. The White House declined to confirm details, but a signal 4547 is prepared to act. So let's see. Let's count how many people. Mr. Pink Shirt. That's a white boy. Mr. Pink Shirt is being arrested. Let's count how many officials is assisting in this arrest. Uh, we have one, two, three, four, five. There's a six, seven, eight, nine, and there's another 10 right here. We got a 10 police, so FBI and Border Patrol officer arrest a man along U Street corridor late Sunday night. We got a better picture. Let me see. We have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. We have nine people. This man, dressed in a pink shirt and gray short, was handcuffed while at least nine people from various agencies stood around him. Oh, they are doing God's work. A DEA agent standing guard at DuPont Circle. This link is in my description box. We won't get ahead of 4547 on any potential announcement, one official told NBC News. But the president has been clear that all options are on the table when it comes to making D.C. safe again. Ooh, I feel so warm and safe with nine people standing around somebody who's handcuffed. Okay. Okay, so that is what I wanted you to see. There's when they encounter a pink shirt, gray pants, and it seems like he's talking shit. Now we do know that the police don't like it when you talk shit to them. Oh, wait a minute, there's this Mr. Pink Shirt again. Let's see how many officers we see now. I see one, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I see 14 officers now. Ooh, I feel safe. Okay, so this link is in my description box. Now, what could Fort? Hold on. Could he actually be trying to hide something? Hey, the unfiltered Muffy. Thank you for being here. Could he actually be trying to uh, divert your attention away from some things? I think he can be. Let me. Let me. Is this it? No, that's not it. Okay, here we go. Let me share this with you. Here we go. Now, we saw Janine Piero on the stage with him. Let's hear what Janine Piero had to say 5 days ago. This news is coming from NBC4. Piero comments that commends decrease in DC crime at National Night Out. This was 5 years ago. Uh, According to she is the chief. She has just gotten a seat as the mm, something in DC, the chief prosecutor
Crime is
in DC. So let's see what she has to say 5 days ago about this DC crime.
going down in DC. It's going down in DC because of you, because you who as parents teach your kids respect, because of law enforcement who make sure that they follow cases until they're solved, and because of our partners.
Back out here live now, we did reach out to the U.S. Attorney's Office just to get some clarification on those remarks. At last update, we are still waiting for a response, but earlier this afternoon, Pirro posting on X a video at the White House saying she had just met with the president and that he vows to take holding criminals accountable in the district very seriously. That's the latest from here. I'll send it back to you.
All right, some conflicting messages today from Jeanine Pirro and President Trump. Walter Morris. Walter, thanks so much.
Now,
Okay. There's no conflicting. 4547 is lying to the public as a way to put the military on the U.S. streets. There's no conflict. There's just lies. Okay. So that's what one thing. And what are we deflecting from? Let's see what we possibly could be deflecting from. That is not being talked about the last time that he put the military on the streets. Here we go. This is from the Midas Touch. Trump forced into surprise criminal trial starting now. What is
against
this?
the Trump administration that starts the criminal trial against the Trump administration that starts today, this week, in Judge Breyer's courtroom in San Francisco is just not getting enough attention. It's historic. It's unprecedented. It's the first case against an administration under the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, because the allegations by Governor Newsom against the Trump administration are that by using federal troops on the ground in California for civilian enforcement operations during the protests related to Donald Trump's immigration policy, that wasn't just authorized by the federalization or the commandeering statutes about when a president can commandeer the use of state National Guard. It crossed the line and became a violation of the Posse Comitatus Act, for which that is not an exception. You're not going to be confused when I'm done with this hot take. The trial starts this week. I'm going to be doing daily updates about what's happening in the courtroom. There's no jury, only Judge Breyer, the brother of retired Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. And you're on the Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok. Let me give you the update. Chomping at the bit to start on this trial. Now let me back up.
Okay, so that could be one thing that they're trying to run away from, and don't want you to know what he's doing is actually against federal law. Okay, so let's not pay attention to a court saying that this may be against the law. Now, another thing that they could be trying to run away from is the case about Jeffrey Epstein. You remember he said that he was going to a judge to see if they could release the grand jury testimony in the Epstein case because they wanted to be transparent, but they had to make sure that they weren't hurting any victims. And if you remember me telling you, ain't shit in that grand jury testimony because it's the bare minimal amount of information. There is nothing that needs to be protected in that grand jury transcript. And so let's hear from the judge who reviewed their request and their argument, and see what the judge had to say about what was in the grand jury testimony. Basically, the judge said that everything that is in the grand jury testimony is already out for public consumption. He said that the questions questions were very minimal in the grand jury testimony, and got straight to the point. And they did not understand what 4547 was saying when they put in little half sentences and key phrases as things that they thought that should be redacted and would be a problem if the grand jury testimony was put out there. And the judge basically said, you're full of shit. What are you talking about? Let's hear what
Folks,
the
we
judge
just
said.
got breaking news. The judge in the Ghislaine Maxwell case that was considering the DOJ's motion to unseal the grand jury transcripts as well as to unseal the exhibits, he has not only denied the Trump DOJ's motion, but he has slammed the administration for their attempts to, quote, mislead the public about the perceived value should these records have been publicly revealed. Why? Because one, most of this information has already been publicly revealed. And two, he goes into exquisite detail explaining why this was just all smoke and mirrors by the Trump administration to let the public believe that there would be some huge treasure trove of answers and truth and facts contained within these records. It is a 31-page order. I've just gone through it. We're going to start on page 20. And when we do, you'll understand why. Page 20. The one colorable argument under the doctrine, meaning under this idea of not keeping records sealed and confidential as one usually does when it comes to grand jury records, and this idea that if there's a, quote, special circumstance presented, then perhaps that would allow the court to be able to disclose them to the public. The court says this: the one colorable argument under that special circumstances doctrine for unsealing in this case, in fact, is that doing so would expose as disingenuous the government's public explanations for moving to unseal. A member of the public, appreciating that the Maxwell grand jury materials do not contribute anything to public knowledge, might conclude that the government's motion for their unsealing was aimed not at transparency, but at diversion, aimed not at full disclosure, but at the illusion of such. It's very powerful for a federal judge to use this kind of language. The judge could have just walked through the factors and just said denied in the end. And it is a very detailed order walking through the legal factors. So don't get me wrong. The legal sufficiency is beyond in this court order. But for the judge to take the time to call out this administration for the diversionary tactics to create the illusion of full disclosure and the illusion of transparency, this is rule of law in real time, people. This is the type of rulings we need, calling into question and highlighting for people who read these orders and for you that are consuming this information, highlighting not only the hypocrisy, but the lies from this administration, suggesting to all of us that there's some huge smoking gun information. Because remember, since day one, we have talked about it here at the Katie Fang News Channel, that the disclosure of these grand jury records was just a head fake. This motion to unseal, just a head fake, because there wouldn't be anything in those records that was going to blow this wide open. And the judge has called out the Trump administration for same. Let's go back a couple of pages, and then we'll get into a little bit more of the other portions of this order. Let's go to page 16 together. The government admitted as much in response to the court's order. Met on June 29th, 2020, as well as on March 29th, 2021. And it's very specific. It's PowerPoints, but otherwise, it's not what the Trump administration was promising people would be revealed in these grand jury records. The second highlight from the court, the following: the evidence put before the Maxwell grand juries is today, with only very minor exceptions, already a matter of public record. The government admitted as much in response to the court's order. The court's review confirmed that unsealing the grand jury materials would not reveal new information of any consequence. In response to the court's order, the government supplied the court with a binder highlighting any information that the government had been unable to determine is already public. Only scattered words, clauses, and occasional sentences are highlighted. These items are few and far between. Footnote: and the government's highlighting is significantly over-inclusive. On the court's review of the trial record, a number of items highlighted, in fact, were already covered by testimony at Maxwell's trial. The highlighted snippets supply at most tertiary details about the same conduct that was the focus of Maxwell's month-long jury trial. The same is so for the exhibits put before the grand juries. Save inconsequential portions of a few exhibits, these were received in evidence at Maxwell's trial. Some were reproduced in the Maxwell indictments. I'm going to go a little bit further on page 18 because, again, these are the important portions of this order where the judge calls out the Trump DOJ for its disingenuous actions. A member of the public familiar with the Maxwell trial record who reviewed the grand jury materials that the government proposes to unseal would thus learn next to nothing new. The materials do not identify any person other than Epstein and Maxwell as having had sexual contact with a minor. They do not discuss or identify any client of Epstein's or Maxwell's. They do not reveal any heretofore unknown means or methods of Epstein's or Maxwell's crimes. They do not reveal new venues at which the crimes occurred. They do not reveal new sources of their wealth. They do not explore the circumstances of Epstein's death. They do not reveal the path of the government's investigation. We're now on page 19. Insofar as the motion to unseal implies that the grand jury materials are an untapped mine lode of undisclosed information about Epstein or Maxwell or Confederates, they definitively are not. A public official, lawmaker, pundit, or ordinary citizen deeply interested and concerned about the Epstein matter, and that was quoted from the government's motion to unseal, and who reviewed these materials expecting, based on the government's I was going to say misrepresentations, which is accurate, but I'm going to quote the judge here. Based on the government's representations, to learn new information about Epstein's and Maxwell's crimes and the investigation into them would come away feeling disappointed and misled. There is no there. Folks, I want to underscore.
Okay, so we know that they acted as if they wanted to give you all the information, and they had to go to a judge. You know, these judges that they don't have to go to when they are not allowing your constitutional rights and sneaking people off to El Salvador. These judges that they ignore, all of a sudden when it came to Epstein, they pretended like they had to go to a judge because they wanted to give you all the information, but it was sealed in these what was it in these grand jury proceedings. And so to get permission to give you all this information, they had to go to a judge. And the judge said, ain't nothing in here that the public don't already know. Why you coming up here acting like you wanted to reveal something? Anything that's in this grand jury proceeding has already been disseminated in the public. Facts. Yes, Southern Bell. That is what the judge said there. And all of this fake pumping, like you guys really wanted to disseminate any information. They so full of it. This link is in my description box. All of this pump faking, like y'all wanted to disseminate anything about the trial and be truthful. It gives no information about any other person besides Maxwell. And the judge also said that Maxwell did participate in having essaying a 14-year-old girl. You know, the same Maxwell that Pam Bondi, who is now over the DC police, her second in command, went to visit her, and after talking to her, put her in a camp cupcake. This is who's over police, the police force in DC, his boss. Okay. The judge also said, go check out Katie Fain. It's in my description box. The judge also said, instead of sending, what's his name, the second in command to Pam Bondi, it would have been more genuine if they had sent someone to interview Maxwell who knew the ins and outs of the case. But unfortunately, they fired the lead prosecutor from the Department of Justice in that case. It seemed odd that they would send what is his name? The second in command in the Department of Justice. That is below his pay grade, and plus he did not have the all the information about the case, as in he didn't personally work the case. So she could have told him any lie, and it could have gotten by him. It's all bullshit, basically. The judge said. So I wanted to share that with you. I have something else. Now, while we are speaking about 4547 wanting to protect Big Balls, the 19-year-old whiz kid who got hurt in DC. I wonder why we're not hearing the the top cop of DC, Pam Bondi, getting put on this case. Um Top Republicans loosened age of consent law to help adult charged with uh, raping 13-year-old child. Okay, so now why did he loosen these laws? Because the person accused of doing this is one of his relatives. Uh, Utah Senate. Uh, Utah Senate President J. Stewart Adams, Republican, is facing scrutiny after he intervened to loosen age of consent law in a way that benefits his 18-year-old relative who was charged with having sex with a 13-year-old. The charge allowed his relative to avoid jail time and sex offender registration. Now, who's looking out for these 13-year-old girls? Who? I'm just asking a question. Who's looking out for these 13-year-old girls? So these top cops and all of this are not worried about any of this type of shit. No, they're not. Okay. Something else I want to share with you. Thank you for helping me reach my goals. Damn demons. Yes, damn demons. Now, also want to share with you. Uh, DC is such a mess. DC is such a mess. So we are going to clean up DC. Okay. So how are we going to clean up DC? Uh, when a January 6th rioter who urged others to kill cops at Capitol has a position in the Department of Justice. How are we going to clean up DC? Let's if you guys haven't heard about this story, let's hear about it.
Less than 5 years after the January 6th attack on the Capitol, one of the people in that crowd is now a senior advisor at the Department of Justice. New body camera video obtained by NPR shows Jared Wise, a former FBI agent, on the Capitol steps that day, urging his fellow rioters to, quote, kill police, even calling them Nazis.
You guys are disgusting. I'm former law enforcement. You're disgusting. You are the Nazi. You are the Gestapo. You can't see it. Because you're chasing your pension, right? Pension. Your retirement, right? That's what runs your life, your retirement. The sad thing is they're not even going to get their pension because it's going to be your fault. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Joining us now, NPR investigations correspondent Tom Dreisbach. And Tom, this is your reporting. Jared Wise is now a senior advisor for the Justice Department. What do we know about his current role in the DOJ?
Well, we asked the Justice Department. They wouldn't answer specific questions about a specific role at this moment. According to sources, he is working as a senior advisor, as you mentioned. And our understanding is that he's working with what the department is calling its Weaponization Working Group, which is essentially reviewing law enforcement actions brought by Democratic administrations under the allegation that they weaponize law enforcement to go after Republicans.
Wise was charged but was not convicted of January 6th related crimes. He was pardoned along with many others when President Trump returned to office. You obtained a transcript of his testimony. What did he say to the court before his pardon?
Yeah, that's right. He testified in his own defense at his trial, and the trial ended up being dismissed. It was set to go to the jury before Trump came to office and ended the prosecution of all January 6 cases and all investigations, including open investigations into assaults. Now, Jared Wise testified at his defense that he was simply extremely angry that day. He said he viewed what the police did, their actions that day, as police brutality in his view, and he was speaking out of anger. But we should note, he did not dispute that he entered the Capitol building through a door that was busted down by other rioters. He did not dispute that he exited through a broken window, and he did not dispute saying, kill him, as officers were being assaulted by other rioters in the crowd that day.
Well, you can only assume.
Okay, I didn't know if you guys were aware that this is another employee. I didn't know if you guys were aware that this is another employee at the Department of Justice. You know, the Department of Justice that has been set free on Chocolate City. Uh, uh, oh, that's about the other story. Now, I'm going to leave you guys with this. I'm going to have to come back with some more of this stuff tomorrow. But I definitely want to leave you guys with this. So thank you for the thank you for helping me meet my goals, Southern Belle. I want to leave you guys with this. We see C.J. Brown. We see Colin Powell. We see Medgar Evers. Who is this other guy right here? I know who that is. I can't recall. Okay, the painful truth. MAGA is using anti-DEI policy to erase Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson is not exempt. This is the Defiant Lawyer Network. If you have not gone over there, the link is in my description box. Let's hear a little bit of this.
4 African American men who have one thing in common. They all have been erased pursuant to anti-DEI policies from Trump's executive orders. First, there is 4-star General Colin Powell, who made history as the first African American chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And then 4-star General Charles Q. Brown, who was the second African American chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And then Medgar Evers, who was assassinated while trying to register African American voters in Mississippi during the Civil Rights Movement. And the man that I want to talk about in this video is the great Jackie Robinson, the black man who integrated Major League Baseball. The great Jackie Robinson. The United States Department of Defense removed his story. Not because he did anything wrong, not because he was a bad person, not because he was a bad soldier, but merely because of his skin color, his race. That's it. No other reason. Folks, that is sick, that's hateful, that's insecurity, and that's racist. Let's just be completely honest about this. Again, that is sick. That is hateful. That's insecurity. And that is racism. Now, what they're saying to us is DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion is immoral, illegal. That's gaslighting. Diversity is nothing near immoral. And if it is, then take that up with God. Because he didn't just create white men and white women. He created a diverse people group. And they all started out as African. And do not race or gaslight us with this, well, we're restoring meritocracy and or color blindness. That's a joke. How can a country claim to be based on meritocracy or color blindness when it came over here and stole the land from red people and then went to Africa and violently stole black people to build the land?
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. There is more. You need to go over there and check this link out. And I want you to understand that this meritocracy that they speak of, they this is one of Pete Hegseth's favorite terms. He is going to bring meritocracy back to the armed services by getting rid of four-star generals, by black four-star generals without any reason for doing this. Um, he is also says that women should not be in combat positions and all of this. Now, why is he saying all of this stuff? Um, this is whose church Hegseth goes to. Let me make sure I'm sharing this with you, and we may uh, find out a little bit more about his real ideas based upon where he worships.
Pastor Doug Wilson is a self-described Christian nationalist on a mission to make the United States a Christian nation and the
Oh, that dirty little word, Christian nationalist. We understand that Hegseth has Christian nationalist tattoos on his body, and that's just a cute way of saying, in my opinion, he is a white supremacist. Let's continue.
entire world a Christian world. Over the decades, he's built an international network of more than 150 churches. And last month, he opened a new one just 3 blocks from Capitol Hill, with the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, attending the service. Pastor Wilson preaches a strict interpretation of the Bible. He believes women should submit to their husbands and not have the right to vote. In his view, abortion and homosexuality are criminal. He's been on the fringes of the religious right for decades, but now finds more of a mainstream Republican audience. CNN's Pamela Brown reports.
Christchurch senior pastor Doug Wilson makes no apologies for his beliefs on God and country.
I'd like to see the town be a Christian town. I'd like to see the state be a Christian state. I'd like to see the nation be a Christian nation. I'd like to see the world be a Christian world.
And now Wilson's controversial views as a Christian nationalist are gaining sway in the nation's center of power, with the recent opening of his new church and high-profile parishioners like Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Is planting a church in D.C. part of your mission to try to turn this into a Christian nation?
Yes. So every society is theocratic. The only question is who's Theo? In a secular democracy, it would be demos, the people. In a Christian republic, it'd be Christ.
Well, what would you say to someone watching this and say, look, I'm a Muslim. Who are you to say your worldview is better than mine, that your God is better than mine?
Well, if I went to Saudi Arabia, I would fully expect to live under their God's rules.
But you said earlier that you want this to be a Christian world.
Yes.
So you want to supplant their religion with your Christian.
Yes, by peaceful means, by sharing the gospel. There's a lot of work yet to do. I believe that we are working our little corner of the vineyard.
Wilson's Little Corner, a picturesque campus nestled on the outskirts of downtown Moscow, Idaho, is growing by the day with thousands of like-minded Christians. Parishioners of his church, known as Kirkers, own and operate several businesses downtown, next to liberal college town stores.
If it's true.
Why did he yell boo? Because it's
because of me.
Because of you.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
That's a regular day for you.
That's not unusual.
A big focus of his Christian movement is on a patriarchal society where men are dominant and women are expected to submit to their husbands.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have.
Women are the type of people that people come out of. That's all he has to say good about women. Let's continue.
Babies. That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue for you?
No, it's not automatically an issue.
Josh and Amy Prince, along with their 4 kids, moved here from Washington State.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Yes and no, in the sense that we're both saved by grace. We're absolutely on equal footing, but we have very different purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household. Yes, and I do submit to him.
So like moving here
I was just
was
going to say that.
ultimately your decision.
Yes.
That's a great
Great example.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastors, Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter, agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote having discussed it with my household.
But what if there's your wife doesn't want to vote for the same
Right.
person as you?
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that the
19th Amendment gives women the right to vote. He would support that.
the atomization that comes with our current system is not good for humans.
And Wilson, a veteran himself, is unapologetic about his view that women shouldn't be in certain leadership or combat roles.
Looking at the leadership.
Isn't that the same thing that Hexef said in his confirmation hearing, that in his book, and tried to walk away from in his confirmation hearing, that women should not be in combat roles in the military? Yes, it is. Okay. So are we clear? Last thing I want to share about you, these other two pastors that decided to join the stream. If you didn't see me highlight them, I'm going to re-highlight them. They were looking to buy up all of this land in a Tennessee town, and they wanted to take over and remake the town as a Christian nationalist town where they had political power. The important thing for them was to have political power. If you miss this, you are missing a lot, because like they said in that previous article, that man has over 100 churches all across the United States. Okay.
Tonight, News Channel 5 investigates special report reveals the Christian nationalists who want to turn a small Middle Tennessee community into their base of operations, hoping to attract others from around the country. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Hunter Hoagland. They are a group who says they want to go back to an America before the civil rights movement. Their desire is to deport legal immigrants, even if they became U.S. citizens decades ago.
And they want to put women back to where they think they belong. Our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams, has been investigating this effort for 3 months. And Phil, you found that longtime residents didn't even know this was happening.
That is precisely the case. This has very much been developing under the radar. In many ways, the views of some of these people are not so different from the white supremacists we've seen marching down Nashville streets in the past year, although they dress up their ideas with intellectual buzzwords and call it Christian. And they hope that about 90 minutes northeast of Nashville, tiny Jackson County will welcome their controversial ideas of what it means to be an American. For the Christian nationalists setting their sights on Jackson County, Tennessee, picturesque scenes like this represent what they call Heritage America. It's a notion reflected in the Norman Rockwell images they post on social media of hardworking white people, especially white men.
We're building a town. We're building a community there.
Leading the way are podcasters Andrew Isker, a right-wing pastor from Minnesota, and CJ Engel, who recently moved to the area from Northern California.
Like all of our heroes were way more racist than we're allowed to be today.
Together, the pair host what they bill as the #1 Christian nationalist podcast in the world.
God made men to rule, period. That is.
He said all of our heroes were way more racist than we are allowed to be today. That's what he said. All of our heroes were way more racist than we are allowed to be today. And they are creating a church under the guise of a church. Pay attention. Pay attention to the head of the Defense Department and his Christian crusade tattoos.
That's the world God made. You don't like it? Take it up with him.
And here in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Isker and Engel hope to make a new home in a place where most everybody looks like them and thinks like them.
So the question is there room for like-minded Christians and patriots in Tennessee? Yes, there's an imperative for like-minded Christians to gather and fight with us. Like, we need Christian nationalism in one state. Like, that's what we need.
After first announcing a project here along the Cumberland River in southern Kentucky near the small town of Burkesville, the developers behind the plan recently announced their move into Jackson County. Here along the line with Macon County, one of the developers has bought up 500 acres in these rolling Tennessee hills. It's not clear exactly what he intends to do with all this land. But just a few minutes down that same road, just across from the Jackson County High School, a separate business entity has purchased another 100 acres that they are apparently planning to develop. And they've announced that Gainesboro, the Jackson County seat, will be the focus of their efforts to resettle like-minded people from around the country.
From what I can tell, they're Christian nationalists, and I wouldn't hesitate to say white Christian nationalists.
Pastor Kevin Riggs has been sounding the alarm about the rise of Christian nationalism in Middle Tennessee for years, including Gabrielle Hanson's unsuccessful campaign for mayor last year in affluent Franklin, Tennessee. You said it borders on Christian Sharia law.
A Christianized type of Sharia law where everybody, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist, it doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist, it doesn't matter what, you're going to be forced to live by this narrow interpretation of Christian principles.
Having Christian nations on American soil, yep, that's ours too. We'll take it, right? That, like, restoring American identity, right? American, like, heritage American identity, that's good.
As Isker and Engel see it, the only people who have a legitimate right to a homeland here in the U.S. are those so-called heritage Americans, like the ones depicted in those Norman Rockwell images from the past.
I would imagine in most of those Norman Rockwell pictures, there aren't any depictions of people who look like me.
We showed Nashville pastor Chris Williamson some of Isker and Engel's own words, in which Engel says his concept of heritage America affirms the domination and preeminence of European-derived peoples, their institutions, and their way of life. Although,
hold on, I think it's Miss Toby. Miss Toby?
Good girl. Hey, girl. I was hoping you were still alive, girl.
What happened?
Did you, no, I was just, because I sent you some stuff. I don't know if you had got it.
Oh no, I didn't get it. What's going on?
What you were talking about? What you were talking about and stuff. I was hoping I was going to catch up with you, girl. I had a conference call with my therapist. I was like, I hope by the time I get out of therapy, she's still alive. But girl, what is this man doing?
Girl, they doing their Project 2025 thing. They're gonna have these military out in the street because they don't want people to protest. And what are they afraid people are going to be protesting? It's going to be something that you really want to protest, and the military is going to be on the street. You know, this whole lie that DC is so crime ridden, and he's putting military on the street. And when crime is down a 30-year low in DC, and everybody's talking about bullshit, and they don't see it coming.
Because and then you notice how he mentioned certain cities that had black mayors, right?
Mm-hmm. Black mayors, yes,
yeah.
Yes. I talked about that.
He mentioned us. He mentioned Baltimore. But let me tell you
Baltimore.
something.
He said Baltimore is beyond help. Did you hear what he said about Baltimore? Baltimore and Oakland, they beyond help.
But he don't read stats because we have the lowest murder rate in history that we have in many years. And the crime has gone down. What is he talking about?
He's lying because people easily believe that because these are black cities. Like these white kids are out here committing crimes.
Did you see the news conference this morning?
Girl, I played it.
Okay, see, I told you I was in therapy because I was watching.
Yeah. I played it.
Did you wait a minute? Did you see the food that he had? What is she now? Judge, whatever her name is.
Judge Perino, but I also played her 5 days ago, commending DC about the crime going down, and it was because of the parents. And I played her 5 days ago saying that the crime had gone down. Perino.
I mean, because today when she was talking talking about. I felt like this is what she basically saying. Yeah, we're gonna get your little black boys and your little brown boys in the city. We're gonna wild them up. We're gonna get them. And we're gonna arrest them. That's what I took from her little speech today.
That was what she was saying. You took it from it because that's what she was saying. That's what she was saying.
Girl, he's really trying. I think, in my opinion, trying to create martial law.
Yes, that is the plan under Project 2025. And they're going to have the military out, so you cannot protest. And if there are any mass protests, like these statewide protests about that bill, where they had protests in every city, they're going to they're going to shut it down and say that they need the military. He's bringing civility back to the streets. Girl, I'm telling you, people better wake up and pay attention. Like I didn't want to that these motherfucking Hispanics who voted for him and are mad that ain't nobody fighting for them. That's why I did the stories on what they were doing. I don't have no fight. You don't want to fight for yourself, don't fight for yourself. But hey, he used that situation to circumvent so many laws. And one of the things that he did was put the military and the National Guard on this street against the governor's wishes. So that lets you know that they are allowing this man to do anything. And backed up by the United States Supreme Court.
Girl, I don't even call them the United States Supreme Court. I call it Trump's court.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a mess. I'm gonna play this video. You want me to play it while you up here?
No, I'm about to drop down and watch the rest of the live on the queue. I just had to come up there and tell you that, yeah, because I sent you that. Girl, as soon as I was watching the news conference today, I sent it to you. I said, "Are you watching it?" You must have checked your messages, but that's fine.
No, I didn't check my messages, but yeah, I played the news conference, girl. I had already He had the FBI, he had the Homeland Security, and a whole lot of agencies already on the ground in DC last night before he even made this announcement. I read the story about that.
So what you think he was doing? He was hoping that it was going to be riots?
Listen, I don't even believe that. First of all, I don't even believe that big ball dude got beat up. We know that he has been proven to be a overt racist. Who says that he just didn't get knocked in the nose? Now all of a sudden he was trying to steal the woman's car. He was trying to steal Big Ball's car. It was 8 of them. It was 10 of them. It was 12 of them. And then all of a sudden, we need to charge these 14, 15, and 16-year-old minors, in quotation marks, as if they are not minors. This is what Trump said. We need to charge these, in quotation mark, minors as adults, 14 and 15-year-olds. But you notice they never said anything about how Big Balls was out at 3 a.m. with his 19-year-old ass working for Social Security, taking away USAID and starving all of these poor people in Africa who was getting USAID. Estimated 14 million people are expected to die since Big Balls and his 19-year-old ass decided to shutter USAID. But you notice they never said, what the fuck is a 19-year-old doing out leaving a bar in DC drunk?
Mm.
Oh,
okay,
but that's
well,
okay. Isn't the legal age for drinking in bars in DC 21 too?
I mean, the legal age to drink is 21.
Yeah. So, but they don't want to tell you that he was leaving a bar drunk at 19 years old.
So evidently he had a fake ID.
Now, but these 14 and 15-year-olds need to be tried as adults. Girl, bye. All of this is bullshit. And then he came out. That happened Friday nights, Saturday night, Sunday morning. His first thing says that DC got to get themselves together soon, or I'm going to take over. I'm going to federalize DC. And then on Sunday night, federal agents were in D.C., and he announced that he was going to have a press conference Monday morning. So my question is, when did he give D.C. a chance to get themselves together quick when you already had federal agents on the streets the next night? It's bullshit. All of this is bullshit. I don't even know if that even really happened. I want to talk I want to hear the kids or the parents of the kids. Two of them were allegedly arrested. Have we heard their story? I think it's all bullshit, girl.
All right. Well, I'll be watching. I'm about to drop
All
down.
right.
Thank you for thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Thank
All
you
right,
for
bye,
coming
girl.
up. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Liz. I appreciate I appreciate you helping me reach my goals. It's good to see you. Oh, thank you for helping me meet my goals twice, Liz. I appreciate you. Jin wins. ICE can look at a group of black people and arrest them thinking they are Nigerian, and bye-bye. Thinking they are a Nigerian, Haitian, Dominican, or whatever. They are mad. We don't care. So let me give a little bit more of this. What they are doing under the guise of white nationalists, right? Not white nationalists. Christian, the Christian right.
In which Ingalls says his concept of heritage America affirms the domination and preeminence of European-derived peoples, their institutions, and their way of life, although he adds that his term also includes the blacks of the Old South. According to them,
The blacks of the Old South. Okay, it includes the black of the Old South, like Booker T. Washington, although it repudiates any instinct that some of them have the leverage to their. Wait a minute. But yet it repudiates any instinct that some of them have to leverage their experience for the purpose of political guilt in our time. So you can stay like a Booker T. Washington, but you can't use your experience by being redlined, by being going through Jim Crow and get any political power, because that's what he assumes. That's what he wants to deem as you can't get political power, because that would be political guilt. It also includes integrated Native Americans with the same stipulation. You cannot get reparations. You cannot none of this political guilt. No, let us do what we did to you and your generations with impunity. You can exist, but know your place. Let's be clear what he said. Okay.
their institutions, and their way of life, although he adds that his term also includes the blacks of the Old South. According to them, if you're a descendant of slaves, you get to stay.
So they're defining my legacy, my entire legacy, really on slavery. I get to stay, even though I was brought here against my will and treated horribly through chattel slavery for nearly 250 years, but that's my heritage.
Even then, Ingle writes that his acceptance of Black Americans is on the condition that they don't try to leverage their experience for the purposes of political guilt.
Because really, you want to keep me in that place of inferior status with you. I'm okay as long as I stay in line and accept how you define me. But these days of white men defining Black people, they're not happening anymore.
I'm not going to debate the meaning of America with those that seek its destruction.
The two Christian nationalists denounced the efforts of civil rights leader Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement in general, with Ingalls saying you cannot have both MLK and Heritage America, and Isker declaring we should turn civil rights back to the states. They celebrate images of whites-only diners in the 50s, with Ingalls proclaiming the 1960s ruined everything, and they mock historical incidents like the kidnapping and lynching of 14-year-old Emmett Till. Yet they dismiss any criticism as people taking them too seriously.
So too are Isker's objections to the Civil Rights Act, his dismissiveness of the Emmett Till murder, and the broader racial views. Yeah. Well, that's funny. That's funny because that whole controversy was like entirely a meme controversy.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, come on, man. Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, you get in trouble for having fun.
You have done nothing but disguise white supremacy in the guise of Christian nationalism. So call it what it is. It's white supremacy. It's not nothing Christian about it.
Earlier this year, Engel, to mark the beginning of Black History Month, responded with his own celebration of Heritage History Month, holding up white supremacist thinker Sam Francis for praise. Among his writings, Francis suggested that if whites wanted to do so, they could dictate a solution to the racial problem tomorrow by imposing fertility controls on non-whites.
It's repulsive that people would think of me and people who look like me in such degrading ways.
And yet they claim to be Christian nationalists.
Keyword is claim.
Part of this is coming out of fear because we're moving closer and closer to that day where the white European Christian is the minority or the new minority when you add up all the other minorities. So they're losing power and they're trying to stop that as well.
In fact, their rhetoric,
They don't hate us. They hate white Christian men, period. End of story.
is reminiscent of this scene. Where neo-Nazis took to the streets of Nashville earlier this year.
If you strip it all down, they're saying the same thing. They're just saying it in a way that may be more acceptable to people. But at the end of the day, it's the same tired ideology of white supremacy.
As Esther and Engel see it, this endeavor isn't just about moving to a place where the people look and think like them. They also imagine creating a political force that has an impact on communities like Gainesboro, eventually extending their reach statewide.
If you have towns like ours that we're going to be building, right, where there are a lot of people that are very politically motivated and very well organized, right, you can have as much influence as one of the big cities in Tennessee.
Hello and welcome to Contra Mundum. It is election night. It's the big night. Welcome, everyone.
And on election night, the pair hosted a nearly 9-hour podcast from Gainesboro.
Oh, there he is.
No, he's on.
He's on. He's live.
There I am. Hey.
Hello.
Bringing in some of the biggest names from the Christian nationalist community.
This is Charles's moment. Charles, welcome to the 2024 election.
Okay. I just had enough. I was just connecting the Christian nationalists. These are who these two guys purported themselves to be pastors, and they have come from Minneapolis and Northern California to Southern Tennessee to gin up support for the vitriol and hate that they are spewing. Another thing that I want to share with you quickly.
The neo-Nazis next door, a large hate group that our investigation discovered is expanding its presence right here in Tennessee. Good evening to you. I'm Carrie Sharp. And that group, the so-called Patriot Front, is probably best known for plastering our communities with their hate-filled posters and graffiti. Now our investigation has uncovered new videos that reveal the group is also preparing for battle. Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams.
I think this is important to you that they are preparing to battle. They are practicing hand-to-hand combats and fights and all of that. I also want you to know that Patriot Fronts are these groups that have shown up in Ohio, getting out of the backs of U-Hauls and doing these Klan march. It was someplace in two places in Ohio. One of them, I showed both of them to you. Them walking up the streets in Ohio. This is who a Patriot Front is, and they are spanning out beyond Tennessee. And just in case you and this is being ignored, the media doesn't realize any of this.
Is continuing as hate comes to Main Street investigation. Phil, you have been working on this story for more than 3 months.
That's right. And during that time, we gathered never-before-seen video that shows what the Patriot Front is really up to. As you're about to see, that includes training men to fight right here in the volunteer state.
Right now, they've got an enemy. If they get rid of their enemies, they're going to have to find a new one. This might be you.
Our investigation began last fall as anti-fascist activists protested an annual white supremacist gathering inside the lodge at Montgomery Bell State Park, about 40 miles west of Nashville. It was an investigation that would eventually lead us across the state to this large compound being built by a hate group right here in Tennessee. A compound where members train for battles that sometimes play out on the streets of America.
These are smart, observant, thoughtful Americans who see that our country is going in the wrong direction and has been going in the wrong direction for decades.
Which may be why Jared Taylor, the founder of the American Renaissance Conference, insisted that we not take video of any faces while we were inside the conference. How about the neo-Nazis?
I don't even know a neo-Nazi.
That is absolutely false. Jared Taylor lied to you.
Jeff Tischhauser tracks hate for the Southern Poverty Law Center, and he knows a lot about the men we identified from outside the conference using facial recognition software. Men like Thomas Rousseau.
Nationalism is natural. Patriotism is inevitable.
Rousseau, seen here during a demonstration in Nashville last summer, heads the Patriot Front, one of the largest organized hate groups in the country. Known for their flash mob protests that suddenly spring out of the backs of rental trucks, members wear white gaiters to hide their faces. Their flag-waving marches are designed to present an image that also hides the hate behind their cause.
When you get within their private spaces online, members of Patriot Front worship Hitler, right? They deny the Holocaust. They use a tremendous amount of racial slurs between each other.
They're very clever, though. They wrap themselves in patriotism, Patriot Front.
So that's a way for Patriot Front to appeal to the larger conservative movement.
We are Americans. We are not white Americans because there are no other kind of Americans than those who are white and from Europe.
At age 26, Thomas Rousseau is polished in his racism.
Life, liberty, victory.
But leaked videos from inside Patriot Front revealed that beneath that polished veneer
Good take right there. See high. Let's go.
are old-fashioned neo-Nazis.
These are hardened white supremacists who want to see a white ethno-state created somewhere in the United States.
You are not welcome here.
Outside the American Renaissance Conference, we had also spotted these two men. Our search quickly came back with matches. Robert Benjamin Whitted of Texas and Garrett Joseph Garland of Illinois. Both were among 31 Patriot Front members arrested 3 years ago, accused of plotting to create a riot at an Idaho Pride celebration. Ryan Hunter was one of the prosecutors.
They wanted to basically promote a fight. They wanted to get people to respond, make them angry, make them attack them. And, you know, their history is that they then try to play that they're the victims.
Everyone announce. You can announce. Announce.
Amen. Sheriff's Office, everyone have your hands visible.
This never-before-seen police video shows what happened when Coeur d'Alene, Idaho police intercepted 2 Patriot Front U-Hauls on their way to that Pride event. In the video, we see the men from that balcony, Robert Whitted and Garrett Garland, as they're being processed by police.
It does detail our peaceful intentions.
While Thomas Rousseau insisted their intentions were peaceful, police discovered what a witness called a small army prepared for war, including being equipped with riot shields. Shields that this leaked video shows Patriot Front prepares for use in battle.
Those shields can be used offensively. And in fact, in riot training, they're intended to push and to move people out of the way or to certain areas. And we actually got testimony on cross-examination that confirmed that, yes, that's how they had been trained to use those.
And when police unmasked the Patriot Front members, they found their caps secured to their heads by chin straps, and the caps were no ordinary headgear. Inside, they found hardened plastic designed to protect their heads in battle. They also discovered tactical radios for communicating over long distances, first aid kits to treat the injured. One even carried a smoke grenade.
You don't come to a boxing match with gloves on and dressed to fight if you don't intend to fight. And that was the circumstance we faced with this group. Is they were ready to fight. They were prepared to fight. They had trained to fight.
And the group's ops plan indicated the Patriot Front Army would line up on the outskirts of the park and proceed inwards until barriers to approach were met. There, they planned to create what they called a confrontational dynamic.
And during the testimony that we were able to elicit from them on cross-examination, they confirmed that people really they didn't consider those to be barriers that they would stop for.
So you're saying if they encountered people at the Pride Fest, they were just going to plow through them?
That was effectively what they said at trial.
Which brings us back to Montgomery Bell State Park and another man we identified from the balcony.
So Ian Michael Elliott is a longtime member of white power groups, including Patriot Front. Within Patriot Front, he's one of their lead recruiters.
Ian Michael Elliott, we discovered, is one of the people behind this 122-acre Patriot Front compound in Tellico Plains, Tennessee, located between Chattanooga and Knoxville. When we flew over in Sky 5, it appeared to be very much still under construction.
It appears that they're using this place to network and strategize. They're inviting white supremacists from across the country into this compound to network and strategize.
This photo, obtained by News Channel 5 Investigates, shows Elliott with Rousseau at that East Tennessee compound, hosting another.
Okay, question. How many of these people do you think are ICE agents? it seems like they have made themselves comfortable wearing those little masks over their faces. How many do you think are ICE agents? How many are getting $50,000 sign-on bonuses? I'm just curious.
The white supremacist group from Texas.
3, 2, 1, fight!
And this video posted online shows Elliot in a studio adored with neo-Nazi symbolism, training men for bare-knuckled battle that often leaves these Patriot Front warriors bruised and bloodied.
Patriot Front will claim that they are nonviolent, but they're training in mixed martial arts. They're using their training in mixed martial arts to escalate confrontations and to hurt people.
Which is exactly what happened to a musician who tried to confront the group in Boston in 2022. A federal judge recently awarded the victim $2.7 million in damages, although it's not clear he'll ever collect. Police video shows that when a Patriot Front U-Haul was stopped shortly after that incident, one of the people present was Garrett Garland. He's the one on the right at the American Renaissance Conference back in the fall.
This isn't your, granddad's KKK. This isn't the old school white supremacists. These guys are smart. I'll give them that little bit of credit. Is they're smart in how they approach it.
Ryan Hunter says he believes it's critical that Americans see beyond the images that Patriot Front would like to project, to see that what they represent is neither good nor American.
And it's, incumbent upon all of us that see it for what it is to combat it every chance that we get and tell what really this group is about and what their message is all about. And so that's probably my biggest takeaway from this.
See high, let's go.
And in addition to their march.
Okay, he has a whole stream of investigation into them trying to go into these Tennessee towns, and you may need to hit that link and check out all of the stuff that he is reporting about these neo-Nazis, Christian fundamentalists, Christian nationalists, these Christian nationalists, churches, Patriot Front, and all of this bullshit. The names are meant to deceive. Hey, Taylor Lewis, thank you for being here, but do not be deceived. Now, I want to go into our last thing. Who is investigating this game tactic of what's going on? I showed you yesterday that Apple kissed the ring because Apple is getting it will not be getting the tariff on its chips, but NVIDIA chips has come to a secret deal with 4547, where they are actually going to give him some money. Let me share this with you.
We have a major story regarding Trump's extortion activities, and this is it. NVIDIA and AMD to pay 15% of China chip sale revenues to U.S. government. Chip makers agree to unusual arrangement to secure export licenses from the Trump administration. Basically, what you're seeing is a pay-to-play extortion-type activities from the Trump people. As you guys know, they run it all like a mafia organization. That's Trump, and let me read a description of it.
Trump was making an announcement. How come he never made an announcement about that? And where is this 15% of all these chips going that NVIDIA uses? NVIDIA is the chip that the muskrat used for his Grok, that big monstrosity that he has set up in Memphis. Those are the chips that he uses. So how come 4547 didn't tell us about this? And where is that money going? Where does all this money go? Let's listen.
NVIDIA and AMD have agreed to give the U.S. government 15% of the revenues from chip sales in China as part of an unusual arrangement with the Trump administration to obtain export licenses for these semiconductors. And if you're unfamiliar with extortion, let me read the definition. I talked about this before in a prior video, but it's always worth going over this when you understand if you want to understand who the Trump people are. Extortion, the practice of, the definition, the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. And then here's a sample sentence. He used bribery and extortion to build himself a huge art-stuffed mansion. If you want to put more Trumpy terms, he used bribery.
Or a ballroom. Now, let's be clear. This hasn't not been announced. But what threat could 4547 put on NVIDIA? Could it be those 100% tariffs? Could it be letting them out of these 100% tariffs on chips? Think about this.
And extortion to build himself a huge, right, like Trump, gold White House, right? You can call it something like that. Someone also had a question regarding this stuff. Where does the money go, essentially? It's a complicated question, which we'll get into. This is a question. Chris, I don't know who else to ask to get a straight answer from. When Trump extorts money from colleges and wherever else, so in this video, we're talking about NVIDIA and AMD, where does the money go? To the Fed coffers, or do they go to him? I'd love to know. I've been talking to my wife ever since he started this little stunt. Thanks, Lou. Lou, it's a complicated question. It's a complicated answer because the money goes to all sorts of different things. Long story short, Trump tries to figure out ways to put it into his pocket. Okay, long story short, it could go to his campaign finance fund or the general GOP fund in different ways. It can go to various projects that he'll try to take credit for. It could go to the Treasury General Fund. It could also go to the Sovereign Wealth Fund. It just depends what we're talking about here. And again, it gets complicated because we're talking about a lot of money and you're talking about different ways that they're extracting money from people. And there could be a lot of under the table and crypto stuff that we don't know about. Some we know about, some we don't know about. So there's that. If you guys want to know more about the Trumpy world, basically mafia type stuff, see the movie Apprentice. It's pretty good if you don't know anything about Trump. It goes over his early years, where he got this sort of culture from. Also see the movie 1987. I know this is a Korean movie, but it's sort of, you have to understand that this happens in other places. And in the Korean situation, they put an end to the Trumpy type of stuff, but the USA is now experiencing it, right now live. That's a better way to put it. Let me read some more of the AMD thing, and I'll share some more thoughts as we go through it. AMD and NVIDIA, that is. The two chip makers agreed to the financial arrangement as condition for obtaining export licenses for the Chinese market that were granted last week, according to people familiar with the situation, including a U.S. official. So this sounds like, and we don't, and they keep all this stuff under, anonymity. It's very sensitive, of course. The Financial Times could be talking to, people at both AMD and NVIDIA. They could have sources, in China, and they could also have sources in the USA. Recently, too, China arrested one of their people. So I honestly don't know the story there, because you're never going to get necessarily the truth on this kind of stuff. But you do hear about sort of the headline is. Here's some more detail. The U.S. official said NVIDIA agreed to share 15% of the revenues from the H20 chip sales in China, and AMD will provide the same percentage from the MI308 chip revenues. Two people familiar with the arrangement said that Trump administration had not yet determined how to use the money. This is a key line. Two people familiar with the arrangement said the Trump administration had not yet determined how to use the money. Now, oftentimes, again, you want to follow the money in this stuff. So we know that there are, money going to be passed hands. At least that's what's been reported here. And, from Trump's point of view, he's like, okay, how can I put money in my pocket, right?
So how can he be the president of the United States and making deals with a chip company and haven't decided how he's going to spend the money with? Isn't the sole reason that he's alleging that he is putting these tariffs on companies is to make so much money is coming in to the United States? But have they said any amount of money has gone to our federal debt? No, they have not. Okay, so that link is in my description box. Go on over there and check it out. And I thank you guys for being here. And I thank you guys for being here. I thank you guys for helping me reach my goals this morning. And I'm going to end with this. I'm gonna leave this playing as I end my live. You guys, the for-profit media, please hit the like button. Please, the for-profit media is not saying much about BRICS. They're not saying much about these tariffs. They're not saying much about how the BRICS are outsmarting the United States, and the dollar is basically crumbling, and a lot of trade deals are going on around America. So I'm going to leave you guys with this, and put up your chairs as you leave. I appreciate you guys being here. I just don't think enough about this is being transmitted to you guys, and it's kind of frightening to me. So I'm going to share this with you guys. Here we go. This is the economist Richard Wolff. So I appreciate you guys for being here, and come visit me tomorrow. Thank you so much.
The notion of unintended consequences, here you have it. The last thing that the United States' neocon foreign policy establishment wanted was to strengthen Russia. They seem to have decided that Russia is the great problem in the world and that they would concentrate on weakening Russia. That's a major part, not only of the war in Ukraine, but particularly of the economic side of it, sanctions program of stopping purchases of oil and gas by Europe from Russia. Russia provided the cheapest oil and gas that Europe could have found anywhere. Because of the cheapness, European products were lower priced. They didn't have to raise the price as much. They got the cheap energy, and that made European economy successful, competitive, able to export, which the engine of European growth has been. Germany, above all, as an exporter. All of that was undercut when the sanctions went into effect in order to weaken Russia. But they didn't work. And they didn't work for two reasons that will help everyone understand why BRICS is so important. The first reason is that Russia was able to turn to its BRICS partners with whom Russia had been developing relationships for many years. BRICS wasn't an organization formed last year or the year before. It's older, and Russia had cultivated in lots of ways relationship with India, China, South Africa, Brazil. And so they bought Russian oil and gas. To make a complex story short and sweet, Russia turned out to be strengthened. The second unintended consequence was that Russia strengthened itself by turning to the BRICS, but it was a two-way arrangement. In order for India and China to buy the oil and gas from Russia, they had to work out the economics of this enormous business imposed on them by the sanctions levied by the United States and its G7 Europe allies. And so the BRICS became better coordinated, more dependent one on the other, more having their economies intertwined. Bottom line, Russia and the BRICS became stronger, and the United States became less powerful because of it, more isolated because of their own decisions to have the war in Ukraine. And that isolation of the United States is now deepening because of its decision to be as supportive unilaterally to Israel as they have decided to be. The unintended consequence of trying to isolate Russia has been to isolate the United States. The world has changed, and the United States is denying that to its own detriment. China is coming closer and closer to being an economic equivalent of the United States, and its alliance, now accounting for nearly half of the population of this planet, is going to overtake and surpass the United States, which is 4.5% of the population of this planet. The unique position of the United States as dominant coming out of World War II couldn't possibly have lasted forever. It was a delusion to imagine it. And all that's happening now is the foreseeable reality that the rest of the world has caught up, has figured out how to grow fast, catch up to the United States, surpass it. That was in the cards from day one, should have been planned for, wasn't, should have been understood, wasn't, should have been discussed and debated in the United States, wasn't. And I leave it to you all to understand there is virtually no discussion of what is probably the most important economic issue facing this country, which is how do we cope with, how do we work with, how do we live with the decline of the American empire, the decline of American capitalism, the rise of other capitalist economic and other systems around the world, world. That's what we're going to have to figure out. That is the issue we face. And denial, dealing, for example, with this BRICS conference in Russia, as if it were a Russian event, as if it were all about Mr. Putin. It wasn't. It isn't. That's the same denial. You can't see what's going on because you have to rewrite it as the old Cold War struggle of the United States versus Russia. It's not only tiresome, it leads you to make catastrophic mistakes, like the war in Iraq, like the policies in the Middle East, and indeed everything else coming down the pike, so long as one of the two superpowers pretends that it's not one of two superpowers. It's pathetic and dangerous to watch. The economic growth of the United States for this year is scheduled to be 2.8%. Let me ask everyone, keep that in your mind, 2.8% growth, and that's faster than any one of the other of the G7. Okay, now let me compare that first to Russia. Their economic growth rate, by the way, all these numbers come from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, a Western institution dominated by the G7. Russia's growth in 2024, 3.9%. Let's turn next to China, 4.8. That's almost double the economic growth rate of the United States this year. And then we come to India, which is 7%, almost triple the level of the United States. And I wouldn't bring you these numbers for 1 year if they weren't, in fact, the kinds of numbers we have seen for decades. That's why the Chinese are where they are. They caught up. They grew faster. They figured out how to raise the standard of living of their people much faster than anyone ever did before. This is not an endorsement of the Chinese economy or society or suggesting they don't have lots of problems. They do. All countries do. But when it comes to economic growth, that's their strong suit, folks. And that's what makes the difference in the world economy, doesn't it? To pretend that this isn't going on, that this isn't suggesting where the future lies. Of course, they have a good humor among themselves at their conference. They are the growing, dynamic core of the world economy now. The West isn't. And that's not about to change. That's why you have to come to terms with it rather than pretending that such situations don't exist or that it's all about Mr. Putin. It isn't. Let me remind you of another statistic. The GDP of the United States remains #1 in the world, somewhere between 25 and $30 trillion a year. That's the legacy of being the dominant economy for the last century. What is the GDP of Russia, our so-called enemy? 2 trillion, maybe 3. People should understand Russia has never been an economic threat to the United States. It can't be. It's too small. It may have a powerful military, but economically, not at all. The United States could, if it worked out an arrangement, easily come to terms with an economy that's so much smaller. The Chinese economy, that's a completely different thing. Their GDP is around $17, $18 trillion, catching up exactly. And Russia and China together, and India and Brazil added, yeah, that gives you the powerhouse that I've been describing and that BRICS represents. The road forward with continued denial is a road into making mistakes. Let me remind everyone, at the beginning of the war in 2022, there were predictions from the president on down. Russia would be destroyed. Russia would fall to its knees. The ruble would collapse. Russia would become dismembered. Putin would be ejected. None of that happened. Why? Because they didn't understand BRICS, what it meant, what it could do, how it could intervene with Russia to change the outcome. More such mistakes are coming if you continue to pretend that we're all in some old Cold War 2.0 rather than in a new economic situation. Look, I do understand. I'm an American citizen, born here, lived here, worked here all my life. It is very hard to be in the period of decline of an empire. I'm sure it was hard for the British who lost their empire a century ago, and it was hard for the Dutch and the Persians and the Greeks and the Romans, but we do have the benefit of knowing that and making at least some choices to accept it, to understand it, and to work out a live and let live with the rest of the world. Otherwise, the doom and gloom predictions of World War III and all the forms that that is taking will in the end overtake us. Not because they have to happen, not because they're built into the system, but rather because a population having to face the decline of its empire, the decline of its system, wants to deny it rather than treat it in the manner that adults kind of know they ought to do. At the end of the war, the United States had had one experience with bombs falling on its territory. That was Pearl Harbor at the beginning. Never again. No damage was done here. No explosions happened. No invasion occurred. None of it. We lost some troops, but relatively much less than other countries. Meanwhile, all the potential competitors of the United States, Germany and Japan, the losers of World War II, but even Britain, France, Italy, they were all defeated. Their factories were bombed, their railroads wrecked, all the rest of it. So we came out a unique position. We held that unique position for most of the rest of the 20th century, the second half of that century, when we could do pretty much what we wanted. It didn't matter. We were so dominant, the economic system here. We helped the others rebuild from the war in Japan and Western Europe and so on. And we could do what we wanted. They had this notion that you're kind of alone in the world, that everybody has to adjust to you. That's over. And now it won't work. I'm going to explain why these tariffs are a mistake, as if you were in the position you were before. So I will slap you with a tariff and I will not suffer consequences. This is completely wrong. I'm going to give you the example. Electric vehicles. They are the vehicles of the future. Between the damage to our health and the damage to the resource base of this planet, burning fossil fuels to move our cars and trucks is on the way out. It's going to be replaced not by the rational decision, that would be mass transportation, but by the irrational but profitable decision to substitute electric vehicles for fossil fuel burning vehicles. Given that, here's the reality. The Chinese participated, along with the Europeans and the Americans, over the last 15 years to produce a profitable electric vehicle. That competition has been won by the Chinese, above all by a particular company, BYD. And if you don't know what that company is, that's a sign of denying what's going on in the world. In this case, by the mass media, who haven't told you about it. BYD produces the highest quality, lowest price electric car and truck. Bingo, there it is. They're selling it all over the world, including Europe, by the way. But you won't find those vehicles on the roads in the United States today. Why? Because there's currently a 100% tariff. What that means is if the car costs $30,000 bringing it in from China, you and I would have to pay $60,000 to buy it. 30 to the Chinese manufacturer and 30 to Uncle Sam, because that's what the tariff is, a tax. Here's what that means, my fellow Americans. All over the world, every company that makes things that compete with American products, companies that make shirts, companies that make food, companies that make software programs, they make anything. They all have to buy cars and trucks. It's part of their business. They're going to get the best quality, cheapest electric truck, and that will be reflected in low prices for what they produce. In contrast, Americans, who have to pay way more for those electric trucks with the big tariff, will charge much more for their product than their foreign competitors, and they'll lose business. And you and I will lose our jobs. Why? Because of the tariff. So this may sound good. It may look like you're being a tough guy, Mr. Trump, but what you're doing is playing a silly political game that will come back and bite you and me where it hurts. After World War II, the dollar became virtually universally recognized as the global currency, basically playing the role in the world that once was played by the British pound, say in the 19th century or early part of the 20th. Central banks in virtually every country held as reserves to support their own currency gold and the dollar, leading to the very famous phrase, the dollar is as good as gold. Saudi Arabia and the oil countries adopted the program of selling oil around the world to any buyer, but only for dollars, and then parking those dollars in New York City banks or in U.S. treasuries. It became the focus. And there are enormous benefits to that. The United States, for example, was able to pay for the goods and services produced around the world, the French wine, the Japanese computer, the fill in the blank, by sending them dollars. Unlike in other countries, those dollars didn't come back to buy goods and services here. They held on to the dollar because it was useful to them to do so, which means that for 50 years, the United States was able to consume the produce of the world and gave them in exchange little green pieces of paper, our currency, that cost us nothing and are worth, per se, nothing. The benefits of doing this were incalculable. You couldn't explain American economic well-being in the last 70 years without the role played by the dollar. That's all gone. Today, central banks around the world, depending on the numbers you use, hold reserves only 50% in the dollar, instead of the 80 or 90% that was the norm as little as 20 years ago. So the symbolic meaning of that is enormous. The financial meaning, the real consumption, all of that. Here's a second example. We are now in a weird situation. The United States supports Israel in Gaza. Okay, it's one of the few countries in the world to do that. Out of 195 countries in the world that are members of the United Nations, and I keep track of this, 146 out of 195 have recognized Palestine as a state in the same way that they recognize Israel as a state, or the United States as a state, or France as a state. The United States and its allies are the only ones left supporting. Last week, Spain, Norway, and Ireland joined the list of countries recognizing Palestine. The United States is the only significant support Israel has. Even the other countries that don't yet recognize Palestine give it at best nominal support. Perhaps you would want to make an exception of Germany because it has that odd history of being the place that operated a genocide against Jewish people. But the truth of the matter is the decision by Mr. Biden after the invasion of Gaza by the Israelis to give him 100% support, what is he doing? That wasn't even necessary. He is so wrapped up in the way the world was that he doesn't understand that the Palestinians have won the battle against Israel around the world. Right now, you can't run a ship through the Red Sea, through the Suez Canal. Why? Because the Houthis, in sympathy with the Palestinians, have made that impossible. That has enormous effects on the world, on trade, on movement of shipping. And I can assure you, every Arab country, every Muslim country, and beyond, but right there I'm talking about, I don't know, half the world, are trying to figure out how they can be supportive of Palestine. Turkey has stopped trading with Israel in part because of this. That's what their leader said. My heart goes out to the Israelis too, because they are in the process of miscalculating with the United States how the world has changed, and it's going to impact Israel, which doesn't have the resources to cope with that, even worse than it is already impacting here in the United States. How valuable is NATO when 3 of its members, Ireland, Norway, and Spain, last week decide to go against the heavy pressure of the United States and recognize the Palestinian state? In and of itself, it's a small step. Symbolically, it's an enormous step. It shows we don't agree with you on one of the central geopolitical conflicts in the world, and we're going to do it publicly. And the reason, by the way, it happened is because the leaders of all 3 countries know what Americans don't want to face, which is the overwhelming majority of people in all 3 of those countries are siding with the Palestinians, not the Israelis, in the issues of Gaza, so that the local politicians had to act, not out of sympathy with the Palestinians, but to save their own political skin. Inflation means that prices in general are going up. Not all of them the same rate. Some of them can go down, but the general direction of prices is up. That's all the word inflation means. Okay, step 2 in the logic. If rising prices are an inflation, the next question is, who determines the prices? Answer, employers determine prices. If you're an employee, you've never been called into a room to participate in setting prices. That's done by the boss. That's done by the corporate board of directors, the leading managers. It's a tiny group of people. In our country, the U.S. Census Department lists employers 3% of our population. The other 97% are not. There's no democracy in inflation. A tiny group of people never elected to the job, which doesn't exist. It's simply understood that if you're an employer, you set the price. You raise it, you lower it, you keep it the same, your business. Okay, so when inflation means employers made the decision. Why did they raise prices? Answer, the same reason they do everything else, to maximize their profits. That's what makes a business successful. So we can answer the question, an inflation happens if and when employers see profit in raising prices. So they do. That means that inflation is a profit-driven phenomena that hurts the rest of the people who have to pay more for what they used to get for less. And it's great for profits because that's why it's done. All right, the minute you understand that, then you understand that we live in a system whose economic arrangement is the opposite of democracy. We don't democratically decide what things are going to cost in the store. We never did. We have an autocracy. We have an authoritarian economic system that gives a tiny percentage of the people control over the prices we all pay. When they run an inflation, and when we have a mass of people complaining about it, and that's been the United States in the last 2 years, we turn to an institution set up for this called the Federal Reserve, our central bank. And if you look at the charter of the central bank, one of its jobs is to maintain price stability. So right off the bat, when we have an inflation, we know that the Federal Reserve has failed to do one of the 2 things it was asked to do. So what does the Federal Reserve do? In the case of the United States in the last 2 years, it raises interest rates. Now, for the mass of people, this makes a bad situation worse. In addition to rising prices of my breakfast cereal and my haircut and my computer program, I now have to pay more on my credit card because the interest rate on my balance has just gone up. So this is a solution that makes the problem worse. It's not the only solution. That the Federal Reserve, in acting in that way, shortcut what should have been the debate. How do we deal with the inflation that the employer class has imposed on us? We might have remembered that a conservative Republican, Richard Nixon, on the 15th of August, 1971, confronting an inflation then, made the following decision, which he announced on TV. Any company that raises its price, we will come for you, we will arrest you, and we will throw you in the clink. And any union that raises your wages or tries to, we will do the same. He declared what came to be known as a wage price freeze. Did it stop the inflation? On a dime. Right away, real quick. Did it raise interest rates? No, it chose an alternative policy. We live in a country which not only did not do what it did a few years ago, but acted as if there was no option. So we have lots of experience with that tool to fight inflation. But we live in a country that can't face most of its economic problems because they too function as distractions from these kinds of real issues. A few years ago, we had shortages. We couldn't get toilet paper. We couldn't get medicines of all kinds. We have shortages right now. The most popular nonsense spoken about shortages in the past was, ready? Supply chain disruptions. That's a euphemism. That's another way of saying shortages. Now, I can show you shortages across the board, all over the place, virtually every year since 1971. To assign to shortages some sort of role as evidence, at the very least, you'd have to show me that there were more shortages during a time of wage price controls than there were during all those years when there weren't price controls. Every policy designed to solve any problem turns out to have strengths and weaknesses. I'd be the last one to argue that a wage price freeze didn't have all kinds of problems, not particularly the shortages. The more powerful argument at the time, since I follow these things since that time, the biggest problem was escapism. In other words, there was an escape clause. You could apply for an exemption from the wage price freeze. So every corporation went to work, hired the most expensive lawyers imaginable and lobbyists to go to Washington to get an exemption for your firm or your industry. And that's a terrible, that leads to all kinds of misallocation. I get all that. But interest rates have that as well. Interest rates have their strengths and weaknesses. One of the weaknesses of the interest rate is we've had elevated interest rates and they didn't prevent our inflation. We're still struggling with an inflation, and there are as many people now saying that prices are going to go back up as there are people saying that they're going to go down. So interest rate is not some magic bullet. It's not some guarantee, but it really hurts a lot of people and it helps others. The bigger your company, the less an interest rate increase is going to hurt you. The reason we have central banks, including the Bank of the US and what later became the Federal Reserve at the beginning of the 20th century, was because when we left interest rates to the, quote, free market, we got crazy volatility that was extremely dangerous to the stability of the system. We brought in the regulators, we brought in the institution to deal with the ineffectiveness and the danger of not doing it. We're stuck. We don't work well without a central bank, and we don't work that well with one. That's a contradiction, but it is not resolved by oscillating back and forth between the two. Pretending when you don't have a central bank that getting one will solve your problem makes no more sense than responding to the failures of the central bank by extolling the virtues of a free market. You can't go with either of them. The reason we see the Federal Reserve having anxious meetings over the last couple of years in which the top news item that evening is they met and they either raised the interest rate or they didn't, or they raised it by 50 basis points and not 25, et cetera, is because the mass of people are already involved. There is a small smidgen of democracy because they're making it hot for politicians not to do something. We get rid of the boss inside the workplace, it won't collapse, we won't dissolve, the world won't come to an end, but we will be able to get everybody in a collective way to learn to make the decisions, what to produce, how to produce, where to produce, and what to do with the revenue our production achieves. And I think we would then have in our economic system the foundational democracy that will give us a better chance of getting a broader democracy than we have now.
For the first time in a century, we actually have an economic competitor called China. We never had it. Soviet Union was not an economic competitor. It was way too poor, way too small. Even today, the American GDP is $29 trillion. Russian GDP, $3 trillion. This is David and Goliath, but David minus the slingshot. They have military, they have nuclear weapons. I shouldn't say minus the slingshot. He has a slingshot, but it's still David with a slingshot. China's 18 or 19 trillion. That's a serious competitor. The two together, now you're talking, and they understand it. And so do the folks here, but not the American people. They must be kept innocent of all of this, except when they leak their materials to the Atlantic magazine.
This is Democracy Watch. Mark, we have some breaking news today, and Donald Trump has ended home rule in Washington, D.C., sending in the National Guard. First and foremost, can you talk about the legality of this move?
Yeah, so look, the District of Columbia is just that. It's not a state. It's the District of Columbia. It is a federal